All right. Phew. It's all good. I'm here. The country might be on the brink of civil war, so we better finish this Tippi Tree skin. Am I right? Hold on. Let me fix my lighting a little bit. How's everyone doing? I'm not late. You're late. What's up? I didn't break anything. Everything's in control. This is the Make Anything live stream. And today we're finishing up our boy, the Tiki Tree over here. It's gonna be real good. Yeah, if you joined me yesterday, you saw me do all of this so far. Haven't touched it since then. And today, hopefully, we'll make some good progress. I think we will. I think we'll at least finish the face here in the front. All right, Taryn, welcome back, Cheese Man. Thank you for the super chat. Don't think you're gonna see any feet today. Hold on, let me pull up my green screen. We're about set. Okay, cool. So, I don't think I'm gonna do any sort of introduction or anything. I think it's time to just jump right into it. Keep on working on this piece. This beautiful Tiki Tree as designed by Jen Day and Bill Drastel. Interpreted by yours truly. Okay. Just bringing up the chat here so I can talk to all my lovelies out in the audience. Could I share the Blender mount for Fusion 360? Perhaps. Yeah, I should be able to do that. I've got a lot of things on my to-do list, but might be able to do that. But today, it is our Tiki Tree. Awesome, we got over 100 people in here now, pouring in. If this were a classroom, it would be mighty packed. And I would probably not be the best teacher. Especially if my students were all yelling at me to eat cheese. Okay, anyways. No, I think we're pretty good. We basically just finished up the eyes yesterday. There's still a little bit here that we could do with this nose wrinkle. I think that's just going to be a crease. I was debating whether I wanted to do the nose as two parts, but it looks pretty fine to me like this. So I don't think that's necessary. I think probably just going to do, yeah, try to throw the crease in there. Just with what's the word? I'm just gonna do a extrude cut with a taper to just get a nice chamfer to a point here maybe, so it can kind of fade out. This is one I'll take a few attempts maybe to get it right, but I think it should be a nice quick job right here. Let's just get started with something quick and easy so we can make some progress. And boss will be happy. Please don't spam the chat. You won't make any friends that way. Alrighty. So we're gonna mirror this little triangle shape here over to the other half and cut that out of the tree, and I think that could work. Simple little detail. So we'll just go -1, although it's kind of irrelevant because it's going to taper to a point like that, -45 degrees. I guess it does cause some problems here with the nose, maybe. Oh, right. We just have to make sure not to cut through the nose. We're only cutting the tree. And then the nose should go into that. Oh yeah, this little point is a little wonky, I'll fix that, but otherwise that's pretty much all I need, I think, to capture that detail. Boom, quick business. All right, yeah, this is a lot like carving the way that a tiki might traditionally be made, so as high-tech of a solution as this is, 3D printing and all, does kind of have its roots. Roots, get it? Ha! Oh yeah, cheese puns. Not cheese puns. Gosh, I'm getting distracted by the chat already. Tippi Tree puns. Cool. I think that's great already, actually. I don't think we have to do anything else. Let's quickly hide the canvas and get a look at it. Boom. Look at that. Captured the detail pretty nice. Got a good shadow in there. Done. Done. You know, I think today we might even get as far, well, the bottom might give us some problems, but I was thinking about it, and I probably will go into Blender after I've done all these major details to bring in some of these little textures. I know very little about Blender, so it's not like I'll be advanced, but I know enough to like go into the sculpting workspace and add some creases, little things like that, and hopefully not destroy the model. But I don't know, at the same time, this tiki tree is pretty small, so those details might not even show up much in the final print. Anyways, let's go ahead and move up to the forehead with this interesting piece right here. This looks like it's kind of all coming out. Like these outer faces look like they're protruding, and then this is kind of a rounded cutout from that shape. So I'm going to start by making this larger shape first. This is actually like the headband for these leaves here, so it's all going to be popping out. We're going to want an edge here along the top as well. So maybe I'll just start by tracing that and doing a straight extrusion. Let's see how that looks. Might take more than that. It's kind of a similar shape to the eye, and y'all saw what kind of problems that gave me yesterday. Maybe let's project this over so we can have this crease meet exactly there at that point. I think that'll work. And let's do another center line. It's all symmetry. Half the work, baby. Gotta love that symmetry. Oh my gosh, symmetry. It's another tree pun. They're everywhere. Wait, is that how the cheese thing started? Did I just say trees and it sounded like cheese? I still haven't gotten a good backstory about whether this is something that like is universal across streams, or if I just did something silly. Oh, it's great being out of the loop. Did I make a big mistake yesterday by eating that cheese on stream? Is that like, am I gonna get banned from YouTube now for accidentally participating in some kind of weird thing? Y'all are talking about feet now, so what did I get myself into? Dear me. All right, boom, just like that, we got that perfect shape. And remember my tip from yesterday, we made this spline point a horizontal constraint. That way, as it crosses the mirror point, it's a perfectly smooth curve. There's technically a point here, but it's not actually a point. If we extrude that, that's gonna be one solid curve. And I just realized I don't have my little keyboard tool up here showing you guys the keys I'm pressing. So let me pull that up. I'm surprised, by the way, this idea of having like the keys show up. I thought that would be a super common thing and there'd be a bunch of software to do it, but I found some weird, obscure little program called Karnak, which is how I do that. Still got some weird things. If I try to spell like sheet, if I try to spell cheese, it does it all weird like that. Shit times 2. Just spell the word. Anyways, there I go, rambling again. Okay, so I do want this to come out as a chamfer, and I think I want the top to be flat, or maybe have less of a chamfer. But like I said, I'm going to start by just extruding this out. It does cut into the nose a bit like that. I guess I could make that a straight line to match the drawing a bit more. But I also think this might work out really well once we add those chamfers. So let's just start like this. Let's get out 2 millimeters, seems good to me. Now, as we get to the top here, like these feathers, I think those I'm probably also going to have to do. Well, maybe I don't have to do them in Blender, but those are just going to be cut into the top of the tree because I really don't want to be messing around with the top here where where the game's happening, you know? Don't want to interfere with the game any more than we've got to. All right, so I'll change the view there so we can see the outlines. This is generally the display environment I like to go with, the visual style, shaded with visible edges. For the most part, that gives us a really clear image of what we're going for here. All right, so let's start with the chamfers. Like I said before, usually you want to start with the largest chamfers, and this one's going all the way to the back, like so. Exactly 2 millimeters, since we extruded exactly 2 millimeters. And there we go. Yeah, there is some kind of interesting stuff happening here still. Once we merge that all together, I'll probably just add some little fillets on these lines, but I think I'm going to try to keep these bodies separate just for a little longer in case we want to add more details. Like there's the lines here. I forgot about those. Got to get that stash going, right? Let's do that really quickly. That should be it. Oh, this isn't, okay. Let's see, let's hide the nose. That's what we've got. We can hide the lips. We're just trying to fill this space, and this is a curved surface. If you were there yesterday, we did a kind of fancy thing. Oh man, look how it's going in there. Hold on. That might be a problem unless the lips are filling that. This is one thing I didn't do enough of before, which is kind of doing section analysis, making sure we don't have any weird gaps. So let's go ahead and slide through. And there you go. Well, that's just the start of the mouth. Yeah, I think that's fine. It will definitely print all right. There might be a little extra. Might add 30 seconds to the printing that little invisible cavity, but it's part of the sculpture. It's not like it's hidden inside. It's just a really deep crease, which I love. That's going to give us a really dark shadow. So let's go ahead and hide the nose and mouth again. Make our tiki look super strange. We're going to draw on this top face and kind of start just tracing out our little mustache. I want to do something similar to this, although it might be a little trickier because we have the curved surface. I could either do each one individually, or I can try to extrude two objects. I almost wish this body here. Oh, you know what? Let's try going way back, because I remember I used a tool to cut this shape out of the tiki, so I can actually take that shape and add the mustache lines. Hold on, let's see if this will work. Let's go back in time, make our guy look real freaky. And I'll save too, just in case I break the entire file. You always want to save, especially if you're going to go back and do some major change like this. So I think this is the point right there where we cut it out. So let's go just before that step. Let's hide everything but that tool and see what we've got here. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, I don't know if that'll make it easier to make the mustache lines, actually, unless they're sticking out. I was going to have them cut inward. Maybe we do want them to be coming outward a little bit. Hold on. Let's look at this. No, we don't, because then it would... Well, yeah. Let's see. Let me measure this, see how much space we have for this guy to pop out. If it'll let me select this little edge, I can measure it. Try it. I'm kind of just having fun trying all kinds of different techniques on this stream. It's a good opportunity to do all sorts of interesting tricks. No, I did not confirm that I'm working on a cheese printer. I just confirmed that theoretically I might have the capability to do that. Big difference. Okay. Gotta find that spot again. Wait a minute. What's happening now? Did I already break it? Or did I just, oh, I just suppressed that on accident. Well, it's good news that I can suppress that feature and not have it break anything down the timeline. That means we can probably pull this off. All right, let's try this again. So I'm going to draw from the back here. I'm going to select any plane that's behind this entire object, like so. And let's see if we can view the canvas from the back. We can. Now, I know I've been doing a lot of like spline slight curves. Do we want to do that again or just go with straight lines? I think in the center here, we're definitely just going to do a straight line. But yeah, let's do the curves because it's possible. No reason to get lazy now. Whoops, no, we don't want midpoint. We just want this to be in the middle. There's several ways to do this, but we can select this side, and then select the center line and do a right-click symmetric constraint. That'll make sure it's even on both sides. And now I can use the dimension tool to make that, well, how thick do we want it? We know that it can pop out a maximum of 0.6, which means this could be 1.2 millimeters wide, I think, and it would taper to 0.6. I don't know if we actually need it that wide. This is already, yeah, I think we actually want 0.6 right here. That's already, I actually don't know how this is going to work. I think we do need it cut out of the mustache. We want it cut out of the mustache. Okay. All right. So in order to cut it out, since this is a cutting tool, we would want it to protrude from here. But since this edge is so weird, it's not really going to work the way I want it to. I could add those lines here, but then they would just be going straight down instead of kind of going outward like they do in our drawing here. I think I'm gonna abandon this plan actually and go all the way back to our updated model and see if I can add it here. Kind of what my first go-to instinct was, and it might be right. I was just wondering if each of those lines could be coming out instead of being cut in, but that would mean they'd have to be at least 0.8 millimeters thick, otherwise the printer would kind of start bugging out and that would look bad. So we can make very thin cuts, however, and it should look fine. So, in the interest of matching our model here, that's what I'm going to do. And I actually do have a good idea. I do have a good idea of how we can do this. We're going to start by drawing all those lines and just going way over the limit of the area. And that'll make sense in a bit. So once again, let's make this symmetrical. And now, like I said, since this is a cut, it can be as thin as we want. We can make it 0.0001, a little crease, which would be pretty cool. Let's just do 0.1 millimeter. Oh yeah, that actually matches kind of the width of the actual original drawing pretty well. Now my canvas isn't perfectly aligned, but I think it's still good enough. And yeah, let's do splines, just to make things a little crazier. Shouldn't cause any problems as long as the opposite line is just an offset. So we can select that spline, offset it 0.1, and then we'll just draw two little lines to cap it off to make it a closed profile, which should be an option in the offset tool, by the way. If the Fusion 360 team is watching, I remember SolidWorks had that option, and it's just a little thing to make this process more efficient. Saves you a couple steps, right? There's a lot of things that SolidWorks had since like 2014 when I was learning it. 2012 actually, I think, was my original version of SolidWorks. And there's so many features that Fusion 360 could have that they don't. I mean, I'm not a programmer. I understand that it's probably very complex to add a feature without destroying 10 other features in the process. But they've had so much time, and it's like their direct competition. You'd think they would have some of those features that are super handy. One that I really liked is, for example, if you had a super complex shape. Say you had a star with 100 points, and you wanted to fill it, every single one of those points. SolidWorks had a really great option where you could say like, oh, I want to select all of the similar edges. Select every edge that is perpendicular or parallel to this one edge. And it just made it so much easier to select large amounts of edges and stuff. Maybe that's a feature in Autodesk Inventor, which is kind of supposed to be the professional version of Fusion. But at this point, I think Fusion is as professional as it needs to be. Taryn, I think you had your cheese day yesterday. Are you not satisfied? So yeah, I am feeling kind of silly that I'm using splines here because the curves are so subtle. But something artistic integrity, right? I know I'm straying from the lines a little bit here. They're kind of more going parallel. But I like the idea of them kind of fanning out to like blend into this angle from the center line. That's one of my little interpretations. All right. We got 175 in the chat. Welcome, newcomers. I'm just out here making a super cool tiki tree. Let's bring this one in a little bit more. Try to make them a little more evenly distributed. I gotta say, though, even just throughout the years of using Fusion, I love that they are constantly updating it. That is truly the benefit of a subscription software, is that you get constant micro updates. Unlike back in the day where you would have to wait years, at least a year, to get like an updated version of something or another. Here it's just constantly updating. And I will say, Fusion seems to have gotten more and more responsive and a little just nicer to work with as the years go by. But I still do have a handful of requests here and there. All right, so let's select all of these from the left side and mirror them over. And see if this idea even works, or if I will have to start over. I love it. I love when all these spline lines come up and it turns into some really cool in-progress art. I kind of love the look of my work in progress sometimes. It's like art of its own. Okay, we've got this. Let's make that a construction line. And yes, now we're going to make all of these into new bodies. We're going to start constructing our tool here to cut away. This is something I did earlier for the mouth, and it's a technique I really like. Building a solid object and kind of building up your tool. It's kind of a way to include several different extrude cuts and stuff in a single operation. I make my mold and then I cut it out of the tree once it's ready. So in this case, yeah, I could have done each of these lines as its own extrude cut and tapered it and figured out how to make it work. But we're just doing different things. Testing out what can be done here in Fusion. all these years later, and I still learn something just about every time I open up the software. Okay, so we've got that. I don't think the extent will work since these are going beyond this surface, unless, oh look, it does work. That's one of those things, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I guess since this is just a smooth curve, it is smart enough to extend that and allow me to do this. Awesome. So let's do that, but as a new body. We're not ready to cut yet. We do want to offset it. Well, okay, let's do cut just so we can visualize the cut we're going for. Right now it's going up to the surface, but we want to cut into the surface just a bit. Something like 1 millimeter will do. Okay, wrong way. Once again, it's just like that USB phenomenon where you always enter the wrong value first. I want to do a negative offset. And that actually goes in pretty deep, but it's only 1 millimeter, so perfect. Of course, we don't want to cut this because we don't want all the hairs around the mouth. We only want it to be in this area. So that's why we're still not done creating our tool and why we will make this a new body first. There we go. We've made our new body. Let's hide everything else while we go ahead and do this. I'm going to join these so that they become a single object. So to do that, I'm just going to draw a big rectangle over all of it. That way, when we do want to cut it away, we can just use this one object as a cutting tool. Like that. Now we just have to cut around the excess here that we don't want. And that's the part that I kind of still... Well, I think we can just do a split body. Hold on, let's see if this works. Oh, whoops. What happened? How come they're all still separate? Did this not all join into one thing? This is why I need to name all of these things. All. Name your bodies when you get this complicated eyelid. Although, yeah. Left versus right. I got it mixed up right now. That's eyelid 1, eyeball 1. I should just say left or right, but I don't know, I'm stubborn. Uh-oh, are we getting bad streaming? Shoot. I just want a healthy stream. Just like an old man trying to take a leak. All I want is a healthy stream. Okay. Stash tool. This is our stash tool. So let's get rid of everything except for that and the tree right now. We're gonna go split body. The tool is the body we want to split. And let's see if we can select all of these edges or if we have to create a fresh surface. Ah, yeah, it looks like it won't let us. Okay. Then we're just gonna make this. Wait, never mind. Easy. This is easy. I'm just gonna create a sketch here. Get this a little larger. It looks so scary without its lips or anything. I should just release this face. Bonus. Okay, so now we're gonna, oh, okay, here's the way to do it. I didn't need to do that rectangle. I'm just gonna do this as an extrude outwards. Let's turn on that tool. We wanna do an intersect operation. Let's make that go, it passes through everything and make sure it's only applying to the stash tool. do. Now just once again, so you can see the other side, we've got our tool with all the cuts already ready to go. And you can see that slight curve. It's matching the curve of the lip. Very nice. Now we can just go ahead and hit Shift C, combine tool. This is our target, and we're going to do a cut command with that stash tool. And we don't need that tool anymore, so boom. Still lagging. Sorry, guys. Here's what the cut looks like. Some of these lines I wasn't, oh, yeah, it's not perfect. There's some weird stuff going on here, but what happens once we add the lips back in? Oh, that fills in the holes we cut on accident. This little area that needs to be cut, I'm not too worried about it. The nose here has some cuts. That's a problem maybe. Oh, never mind, that's gonna be filled in. Definitely gonna work for me. Chin. All right, what other bodies do we have? The brow. Chez, thank you, from Costa Rica. Can I do a Z-section analysis? The pupils might be tricky to print. Yeah, there is an overhang here, but it's so small. Let's do it though. Super Chat earns a section analysis for sure. All right, so let's kind of work in reverse. See what happens right there. Oh, bing, bing. That's what you were talking about. Good point. See that right there? Just goes and creates a string, and the printer would try to do that. Probably fail. Good call, good call. So the way I could deal with that is by having this kind of extrude downward instead, which isn't perfect. It's not the way it's not the way Michelangelo would do it. But good call. Sorry, we're buffering so much right now. There's not much I can do about it. All right, let's go back to the eyes then. Let's deal with this while we can. All right, right here is where we did the eyeball. And as you can see, we just made that like that. All right, this should be easy to fix. We just need this to come kind of more downward. Or maybe we can just make this a little smaller altogether as well. Ah, I have an idea. Before we merge that, we can do a fillet here. But hear me out. Variable length fillet. So that it comes to a point here, but there's a fillet here. And that basically increases this angle. And yes, it will still be an incredibly steep angle, but because it's that little small line, it's gonna kind of do that over several layers, and it should work quite all right. I mean, maybe that's not, I could make it a little easier to print still. Yeah, let's hold on. I'll do it a different way. So the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to start by doing the full 360. We'll color this to make it unique. And now we can just do the cutout at a downward angle. So what I'll do is just create an offset plane from this back plane. And we'll make sure it's in front of our eyeball. There we go. And from here, since it's just in front, I'm basically going to draw that triangle again. This time I'll kind of just freehand it. There's a few ways to do this. I could create a sweep at a downward angle, or I could just do this and taper it 45 degrees. That's really intense. Maybe 35. Whoops, not 3,000. Okay, hold on, we'll get there. We'll make this an intersect, and we only want it to deal with that little pupil piece we made. Like that. Clearly that's not what we're going for, but now we can go into the sketch, kind of adjust it. We actually just need to move this up since it's going to be tapering down into the eye. Boom. Yeah, so it's not exactly the same effect. That eye hole doesn't go all the way back into the depths, but printability is like the #1 thing we want here. But let's make this steeper. 30, I think even 25 should be fine. Like that. Maybe we do that, and then we also do that variable fillet to give it a little bit of an extra something, since we were going to fillet the front up here anyways. Boom. That'll do it. That'll do it. We'll make that 0.5 exactly to soothe all the OCD out in the crowd. Now we merge these. Uh-oh. There was a problem combining geometries. So I guess that's a bummer. That's just because these faces, I mean, this should not give us a problem. This is Fusion throwing a hiss. I mean, these, look at what it does. It thinks they're not lining up perfectly, but they should be. One solution might be if I can just select this face and do a quick push, press pull, 0.1. There we go. That makes sure that there's an overlap here. It does create a stupid edge, but we can also, okay, let's add a 0.1 chamfer as well. There we go. That all but fixes it. Boom. All right, we got that. Now we can redo this little fillet. And you know what? I'll make this variable as well. I think it'll be cool coming to that point. It'll kind of add that really dark point in the center. So we'll do 0.3 and 0.3. All these fillets coming to a point. That looks very nice. Awesome. Thank you for pointing that out. That had to be done. Let's see if we can zoom all the way forward without trouble. Come on, fingers crossed. Oh, we got some trouble. Really? What did I do to cause all this? I think I might have accidentally used one of the fillets that belonged to... I don't know. What could have caused that? Oh, was this combine? This combine wasn't for the eye. I stole the combine function from here, I think. Yikes. What did I do? Oh, that surface we don't need. Oh, wait. No, that's the surface that we were going to cut away from this. Hold up. I might have to reopen an old version of this file to see what I'm destroying. Actually, that's a good little lesson. So if you do get to this position where you're like, uh-oh, I messed something up, what you can do, one sec, just to make sure I don't reveal anything. Okay. Nothing you're not allowed to see here in my projects. What we can do is here. This is the file that we're working on, and we're on version 19. But if you click this little drop down, you can actually go through the history and say, let's go back to where I was yesterday. Let's open up version 17. You can open that. You can also promote it. So if you screwed up really badly, you can just say, oh, let's go back to the last version where things weren't screwed up and promote that to the top. But for now, we're just going to reference it. We're just going to open that next to this project so we can compare the two. I think I kind of know what I did wrong, but let's do things properly for once. Ooh, can you guys hear my shoulders cracking? I was doing some side planks yesterday. Still not great with the stream quality. I'm sorry about that. My streaming app says we're getting a good bit rate and everything, but sometimes that just happens. So there we've got the old eyes. The pupils were much larger, so maybe I'll go back in and make the pupils larger again for this version. I don't know why they look like they got smaller. Maybe just the way that this cut is done. Which I guess I have to do back here as well. Let's make more changes and really destroy this. There we go. Let's just make that 18. Oh, that looks a little concerning. Maybe just 16. A little bit larger. That looks good. Yeah. So now the trouble is finding this same spot between the two files. It's not that hard, but I wish it was a little easier. So we're gonna look for, what was it? Right here, I think, right? Surface, revolve, revolve. No, not suppress. Unsuppress. We want to roll back here. So you can right click and roll back to go back in time. Ah, so this was the eye. Okay, see, I was doing things wrong. Let's hit Control Z a few times here. Okay, so that looks the same as this, minus the change we did to the eye. That combine was joining these two things together. Wait, is this a combine, fillet, fillet? Combine, fillet, fillet. Where are those revolves? Oh, they're right here. And then, oh, this is the new one. Right, we added a few things. How do you disable a tangent chain? I'm not sure what you mean by a tangent chain, Strat Magic. If you had just like a tangent curve and you wanted to stop somewhere along that, I would just draw a line through it and maybe use the trim tool to cut away the excess, or I don't know. Sounds like it might depend on the situation. Okay, so here are the things that are broken now. So I have to go back into the old one and see what that was about. Okay, so as suspected, it was for these two. And I did that to make these two variable fillets. I mean, I did add another fillet, but that shouldn't be what's breaking. That shouldn't cause problems. We can do that. So what are these? What were we trying to remove that is causing us problems now? It's just the extra bits in this eye. But here it looks like we still have two bodies. Overlapping each other. Oh, this is the old one. Yeah, this one I guess I removed that right here. Yes. Huh. It might not cause a problem. Oh, I think I removed the wrong piece. We didn't want to remove the eyelid. We wanted to remove the other bit. Let's just delete this. Hold on. Let's get rid of all of these. I think we can delete removals without destroying our file. What did I just do? Here we've got one. What's the problem? Now, I'll be honest, if I'm just working on a simple project, oftentimes, if something goes yellow in the timeline, oh, I'm blocking it. If something goes yellow in the timeline like that, it's usually like, oh, there's kind of a reference missing, but it might not cause any problems. So here we've got a source missing from a projection. We can just right-click that and say Manage Lost Projections and see what it's missing. Oh, it's because that eye was deleted and brought back and deleted again. So for the edge, we can relink it to this edge. There we go. Maybe that means I can't delete this piece right here, but I can delete it later on. Wait a minute. Uh-oh. We lost a lot of stuff. Or did we? We just lost the eyes being mirrored. Yee. Why? Thanks for the super tip. I'm just a person being normal. Thank you for being normal. What first got me into 3D modeling and 3D printing? Well, hello in New York. Thanks for staying up a little later. It's not too late for you, right? It's like 7, 8 o'clock. Well. I first got into 3D modeling. That's a tough question because it depends what you count. I had like software when I was a kid. KidCAD, I think it was called. There's a program called KidCAD for Windows 95. I remember trying to look it up because the song gives me some real nostalgia. I don't know. I was just into it. I was definitely 3D modeling before I even thought I would ever have a 3D printer. When I was really young, I saw 3D printers in Popular Mechanics magazine and Popular Science. And yeah, I was like, oh, that is awesome, but it was the cutting edge technology. It wasn't like something that I'd have access to. So once I got the opportunity, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's 3D print. I don't know, I grew up an artist and I studied design. I've always been about making things and hands-on, this and that. And this is powerful, so I went for it. Okay. It looks like Fusion just got confused and thought I wanted to remove these eyes, which I definitely don't. Now I have to do this projection again. Anyways, some funky stuff, but it looks like we're back in order. Come on, let's do it. Yes, we got the mustache back. Now the eyes, let's do that section analysis again. Really appreciate you bringing that to my attention. I would have figured it out sooner or later, but better sooner for sure. Now look at that, nice smooth transition. what this is, oh, that might be from, is that just another shape? Oh, look at that. Just we got some floating shapes in here. That must be left over from the old version. Well, that's what the remove tool is for. Let's just remove those. No biggie. This is how my timeline gets messy, but no biggie. All right, back. We're back. I think I'm gonna chamfer these edges to line up with this, just to make it continuous. That's also 2. Actually, we could do that. Let's not do more functions than we need to. We can edit this feature and add those into the chamfer. Now let's see if Fusion is nice and gets rid of that line. No, it didn't. I thought we had a perfect seam here. Oh, that's because it's 2 separate bodies. Okay. Just to show you, if you have 2 surfaces that are meeting at exactly the same angle like that, when you join them, it should be reflected by eliminating that line. There we go. That proves that this is in fact all completely coplanar. Okay, let's undo that for now though. We might like to have these separate. And I'm gonna do another chamfer up here, but like I said, the feathers are coming out of the cap, so I'm just gonna do it like halfway. Maybe like that. Let's look at our original. Yeah, that works pretty well. Oh, we still have to get, wait a minute. This is pretty different from what the drawing is, actually. I see. Yes, okay. We don't even need these chamfers. I lost sight for a little moment of what our goal is. I'm going to undo that for now and see if we can't more closely match this. So I'll start a sketch on this top of the brow. I think I can just follow these lines, extend that profile beyond this, and then do a taper. So let me show you what I mean. We'll go from this point, but we'll extend beyond. Just do a couple splines here. Even though that's practically a straight line. Actually, that is a straight line. Let's not get crazy. This is a straight line. This one is curved, but that's because of the curve being cut out. Actually, yes. Okay, let's ignore this whole section. That's going to be cut out. But first, let's just bring this all the way to the center. Let's add that center line again. Okay. Sometimes when you have complex shapes like this, you have to mentally break it down into steps. As you're seeing, sometimes I just jump straight into things, but sometimes it's good to break things into steps. Let's see. So what I want to do is this have this come to a point. Okay, starting over. We're going to go back even further. I think I want to try something. Oh, whoops, we did that mustache after this brow. Hold on. This guy, let's just move this. The sketch. So yeah, you can actually, sorry, let me move myself over to this side. I'm going to move myself over because all the stuff that happens on the timeline is over there on the right. So I'm blocking less when I'm over here, I guess. Yeah, so I'm going to try doing this in a way where we don't do this extrusion first. Let's suppress that for now. Let's find the original sketch. There it is, and I can drag that over. Yeah, as long as a sketch or a function As long as like this extrude doesn't rely on this combine, I can actually drag this to different places on the timeline, just for my own organization's sake. Of course, if something does rely on another feature, then you can't like switch the order of the two. Okay, so what I'm going to do instead is something similar to like what I did on the eye. I'm going to take this profile we have and have it loft out to a point, which is the center here, and then we're going to cut out this round shape. So I'm going to do a offset plane. This is going to come out further than we actually want the thing to come out because the peak is going to be cut away. So let's try doing this at 8 millimeters first, and this will be easy to adjust and kind of change as we go along. But on that plane, I'm just going to add a point right here. And that point is basically reflecting where these lines will meet in the center. Boom, boom, like that. I'll make these all construction. All we need is that point, because now we can go loft. We'll turn on that other sketch. That's our first profile. Then we're going to add a second profile and select that point. And boom, all of it lofts out to that point. Yeah, we're using the loft tool. That one I don't use too often. We're really going to use everything for this design. So hold on now. Let's see if that looks anything like what we're going for. It's a little different. These should be one surface. What happens if I just try to fillet this a lot? That kind of smooths it out, right? But it has its limit once the fillet reaches there. I might do this. It does round this, it changes it a bit. I could fillet that back. I don't know, I kind of like it though. Let's take out that front chunk first and see how that looks. So that piece, might be able to do that. We might be able to do that as a revolve cut if we just get everything angled just right. We're going to draw on the side profile here. We're going to draw the rotation axis. It's going to be an angle since we want it to meet the head here and then kind of end up here. So just like that, basically. Wait, oh yeah, and then we just draw another parallel line like that. We basically just need a tilted rectangle. Hold on here. Let's define this angle. And let's make these perpendicular. Again, this is just an OCD thing. We're just building a tool here, so it doesn't actually have to be a perfect rectangle. But let's see what happens if we revolve this surface and only cut away at the brow. Now this is where naming your bodies helps. Oh, look at that, I didn't name it. I thought I did. Anyways, there we go. That's the body we want to cut away. Look at that. That is called expert guesstimation right there. Look how closely that matches. I mean, I actually like it, the interesting curve that this has created by doing that fillet. Even though it is a bit different from the original drawing, it looks kind of refined. Even though it was kind of an accident, it looks like a refined accident. I mean, that might be popping out a little much. What do you guys think? I mean, I'm doing a pretty good job of keeping everything not too far out. I think I want to bring this a tiny bit back. So let's see if we can make that change with a single change. And that is by moving back the profile that we lofted to. We'll bring it back 1 millimeter and see how it updates. Yeah, looks about the same, but it's popping out less from the side, as you can see. Let's try one more. 6. Let's see how that changes things. There, now it's pretty lined up with the eyebrow. I think this little diamond part got a little smaller. We might need to adjust our angle. Yeah, it did. So we can just go to our revolve cut. We need to pull back this angle a little bit. So let's make that 12 degrees. Maybe that's too much. Oh no, it's pretty good. Expert guesstimator right here. Yeah. Kind of like that. The brow should extend further than the eye. I mean, I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, in real life, yes, your brow is usually coming out. But for the sculpture, I just don't want it to be too dramatic. I want it to be more or less flat. Cool. I guess it's about time to start merging all of these parts together. This is his left brow. His right brow. Eduardo. Am I on pace with this model? Well, I think I could have probably done it in a day if I was, well, who knows actually, because I've gotten a few pretty time-saving suggestions in the chat. I shouldn't be so confident. But definitely doing things live and like, I've got more on my mind while I'm modeling versus just being totally in the flow state. So I am going a little slower than I normally would. But I'd say I'm on pace. I'm pretty happy with where I am right now. I mean, all we've got really is this little diamond thing and figuring out those feathers. And we've got our face. And then we've got the whole base to do. In case you guys forgot, the base is also very detailed. And the base is also tricky because it's pretty flat, and that drawing things like, how should I say this? Creating elements that are like pretty flat and parallel to the print bed, you get a lot less resolution. For example, if I was trying to make these leaves like a slight curve, you're going to get a lot of layer stepping. So I might just do those a little more graphic, where it's just a kind of a pretty flat image of the leaf rather than trying to get the full organic curves of these leaves. Although, actually probably not. I'll probably try to make them leafy. Yeah, this is the design that won, so I am going to try to make the base like this, James. I'm going to try my best. As you can see, I think I'm doing a pretty good job capturing this drawing. I mean, I think I'm doing a real good job, actually. There's not much left to do. We've got that texture, which, like I said, maybe I'll do in Blender. But now it's just the diamond and these leaves up here. So let's start with this diamond. So the way I'm going to do this is actually, I'm going to go back into this sketch. It kind of just seems like it's a smaller version. Ooh, I have an idea. So let's go back to before we cut away this chunk. Then I'm going to duplicate this shape and just make it a little smaller. Well, no, because this is kind of just it doesn't come to a point. This shape here, I guess it's up to my interpretation exactly what this shape is doing. But maybe we'll just do an extrude from that surface. Yes, so what I'm going to do is turn on one of these planes that's in front of the face again. Let's sketch on there. Then I will use the project command to project this shape here. And let's just offset that and see how well it matches. Like, yeah, it's not matching the drawing as much, but I feel like this element should be an offset of this cut, right? So it all like, it's got this uniform spacing all around. I kind of like that. I think I'm going to try that, and then to capture these really dark areas that Jen colored in, I'm going to do chamfers on these bottom edges. Now we do have some weird stuff going on here, but what I'll do is hit OK for now. I'm going to make this little end a construction line and instead use the extend tool here and extend these lines to a point like that. And as you can see, the black turned blue again. If you take an offset line and extend it, it loses its constraints. But that's okay. I'm just going to leave it. Now what I'll do is, from the start, instead of starting from this profile plane, we want it to start from this object. And that way, when we extrude, it actually matches the curve of this face, which I think is pretty cool. So let's bring that out 1.5. I'm going to do that nice round number so I can make these exactly 1.5. Oh, and it didn't work. Wonder why. Let's try smaller chamfer. Okay, sometimes when you have an edge that's exactly 1.5, the way to make it work is to make this value 1.49999. Nope. Let's see how far it'll let us go. 1.45. Oh, that works. 1.46. Something weird starting to happen. 1.47. 8. 7. 7.5. 7.4. Okay, so this is about as far as it'll let us go. Let's see if it still works if I select this edge. No. How about if we just do 1.4? That's pretty much all we want. I think 1.45 will work. Yeah. This is not going to cause us any problems. This is about as good as we can get. And that matches the drawing pretty well again. Tatiana, Lance, you're somewhere in the middle actually. I'm right in the middle between 25 and 32. Closer to 32. I hate to admit. I turned 29 in September. Should I admit that? Maybe not. 29 is considered old on the internet, right? Luckily, my childlike nature has been unaffected. Let's do a little chamfer here. See what that looks like. Just because it's the angle's kind of sharp. I feel like that tones it down a bit. Something like that. Right on. How long have we been here? Okay, just an hour in. An hour in, and what have we done? We've done this top brow, we fixed the eye, we did the mustache, little chin creases. Yeah, decent pace. Decent pace. All right, let's do these feathers. So, we got a lot of black here, but I don't know. I think everything up here that's black, the lines and everything, we're just gonna do a little cut into the surface. So this is all gonna be a sketch right here. We're gonna outline all of these lines. And this is a part that maybe it would be easier done in Illustrator or something. But hey, here we are. So, started by projecting this line. I'm gonna create a rectangle around here so that I could extend this line if it lets us. No. Yeah, I guess it doesn't let you extend a projection. Although we could just create a tangent line going straight out from there. That works. Yes. So there, this is going to be our cutting area. Now feathers are organic, so I'm wondering if I should do it symmetrical or if I should just do it all by hand so it's a little more organic. No, I should probably I should mirror it. Everything's been mirrored so far. I am going to do all of this as splines though. Try to really get that kind of hand-drawn look, or to keep that in here. And since we're cutting away everything that's drawn here, well, I don't know actually. It's gonna be hard. This might be one of those things that you want to do in Blender. Thanks again for the super chat. Everybody that's subscribed to you. The most wholesome, not wholesome, I don't know. Are you a socialist? Are you a socialist? Representing everyone who subscribed to me? Social service. That's actually very nice. On behalf of everyone, thank you for your super chat. I like that. Okay, so I'm just gonna create these cutouts. So these smaller lines, I might make them separate. I might want to make a cutting tool again to do something kind of a little more complex. We'll see. And here, I could have made this a really tight spline point, but sometimes that causes more trouble than it's worth. So I'm gonna keep it. Oh, but here we have some overlapping. This is a bit interesting. How exactly do I want to do this? I think I'll draw it as if it, like, I'll ignore the overlap first. And then when I go and extrude cut this, I'll have to select a lot of little tiny profiles maybe. Whoops, what's going on here? I just want that to be on the outside. Haley, thank you for joining. And I'm glad that my channel has created memories for you. Hopefully, mostly good memories, not too much trauma. I know I have a few funky videos. Yeah, okay. I'm kind of doing this without actually knowing what I'm gonna do. I think I might have to change some things here to make this work as well as I want it to. I mean, there's some things here that are a little bit loose. It might be open to interpretation. Like this looks like it comes to a point, but then it also kind of runs off the side. Aiden, you asked how I changed the color of the shape. Basically, it's an individual body. I haven't combined it with the rest of the tree. So each body, you can give its own appearance. There's an appearance panel, and you just hit A, and that brings up the appearance panel. And lets you drag different materials and colors onto different bodies in your sketch, which helps us differentiate everything. I'm sure I'll use it again before too long in this stream, so hang tight and you'll see. Taryn, thanks for the super chat. You are the most persistent and dedicated chatter for cheese. I'm sure the dairy industry loves you. Okay, so this is what I've got right now. That would be cut out. So what I can do here is offset this line. By 0.6. Let's make 0.6 our thinnest cutout here. So now we can cut out this. Oops, got hiccups. Or actually, it looks like this leaf is in front, so we can offset all of it. Like that. This one's going to be interesting. Let's see if I do this right now. Extrude cut like that. Minus 0.6. Like I said, we really don't want to interrupt this too much, so I'm just going to do a very shallow cut to get that graphic on there. It's pretty much just a flat graphic, and maybe we'll have some chamfers. That's what it looks like. It's kind of wild, but I don't really know of a better way to do it. I guess I'll chamfer all these feathers, and then I'll add those other feather lines on top of that. Yeah, that should work. And really, it would be cool to have the feathers wrap around here, but that gets a little bit tricky, especially the transitions here. I just might not be able to pull that off right now. We'll see, we'll see. For now, let's mirror this over. Maybe make this a little thinner. Thanks, Jay Rich. Kong, you want to design a game. How much time did Tippi Tree take? Well, Tippi Tree is one type of game, so I don't think you can just use that as a reference for how long it takes to invent a game. I actually think I got pretty lucky with Tippi Tree because I kind of just gave myself a challenge of wanting to design a 3D printed game. And I already had the old like Flash stacking games in mind. Basically, Tippi Tree came out of the desire to create a stacking game that is a shape that can be 3D printed, and I wanted to create a single shape that could interact, that could connect to itself in a bunch of different ways. That was basically the whole idea. And I did a few sketches and came up with that S shape. I don't know, just came to me. From there, actually developing the game and the rules and everything is plenty of work on its own. So, yeah. I don't have a great answer for that. Hold on, let's see what happens if I do this, if I can do that minus 45 taper here. Oh, look at that. Oftentimes with a complex shape, it won't let me do that, but here it does, and I like that. It adds another face to catch more shadows. Like I was saying a lot the other day, the more chamfered faces you have, the more different surfaces you have that will catch different shadows. So even though this will all be a single color part, every part that's facing a different direction basically turns its own shade of the filament color. So here's a quick render of what we've got so far. Yeah, I guess there's not really any reason not to combine it all together, except for the top here. Well, not even. That even works quite nice. And look how this blends in, because these are both the same angle. Oh no, they're not. There's a bit of an edge there. I'll probably fill it that. Yeah, we're so close to being done. Let's combine it all right here, right now. So I'm gonna do the combine function, join. Our target is the tree, and our tools are everything else. So we can select it from the side menu here as well. That's actually a little easier. The chin, the nose, the lips, everything. It all becomes one. Boom. Awesome. It actually looks awesome as one color too. It looks like a tiki. Yes, I'm so excited about how it's coming out. I anticipated a few more hang-ups, honestly. So let's see if we can fill it this here to make it kind of a nice smooth transition. Whoop. Let's start small. 1, 2. Okay, so basically as soon as the fillet has to deal with these corners, it breaks. Which means I could maybe combine it before we do that cut on the feathers. Or I could change the taper angle of that cutout to just match this exactly. What did I do for that one? I think 35. We can actually go and see. Let's try that approach first. Oh, never mind. I did this was just a loft. So this is actually just a kind of arbitrary angle. So it would be very hard to make the taper match it perfectly. I mean, honestly, in the print, they're so close. Yeah, Fusion draws a line here, but if I hide those lines, you will barely see that edge. It's probably not worth dealing with. It's going to be invisible. Yeah, look at that. We're getting a lot of detail with a single color here. Those eyes are catching shadow pretty well. The teeth and under the nose, all the areas that I wanted to be the darkest are getting the darkest. Awesome. I'm really happy with this. I think we just need to add the feather details and we're done with the front. Honestly. There's that texture. I don't think it needs that extra texture. Maybe just around the sides and the back. What do you guys think about putting mirroring the face on the back on this side? Ideally, it would be cool to have two completely different faces, but that would obviously be twice as much work. And I've got another Tippi Tree skin to design after this, so I'm not going to do that. But maybe just having the same face on the two sides. I can't put it on all four sides because there's elements like this, but I could definitely have it on the back. Save the work, thank you, Taryn. Oh, and I can also, I forgot I still had this open, the old version. That did help us figure out what was wrong. So you've done your work. We don't need to save it. Nice. All right, let's just do that feather texture now. So I'm gonna do it as a separate sketch. And now start tracing these lines. And I'll just have it cut a little bit more shallow than the other cut. That way, well, yeah, I think that'll work. So once again, I'm gonna have this extend a bit. In this case, I want it to basically extend to the end of the taper. Maybe I shouldn't have, okay. Yeah, hold on. I'm gonna move this sketch behind the what am I saying? I don't want to have the shapes combined until after I've done this, just because my cutting tool might overlap with the brow a bit. So it'll be easier if I combine after the fact. Would it be possible to mirror the mouth so the other side is happy? Even that, I feel like, I mean, yeah, that wouldn't be too much work, but also this is like the Maori warrior face. I think I'd be messing with the design too much if I made him smiling. Plus, if it was just the smile and he still had the angry eyebrows, he would kind of start looking like a psycho. Okay, so we're gonna just go back here. And Hold on, let's hide any sketches we don't need. I don't know why this one is on all the way back there. Here, start a sketch. Okay. And there we go. Centaur line. Flip the mouth and eyes. Maybe. All right. I don't know if that's actually going to change anything, but just in case. There we go. Maybe we make these 0.4. That looks like a good thickness. We'll extend that. Cap it. And yeah, this is looking okay. So what's everyone printing today? I know I asked yesterday, but any new prints? Anyone? Or maybe you're modeling something while watching this? It'd be nice to know that I'm not alone here. Oh, we've actually, yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I'm just gonna make all of these lines 0.4 offsets, and hopefully we won't have any problems. Although right here, it's kind of awkward. I might have to go back and create another cutting tool. But I think this sketch will be useful no matter what. So I'm just gonna keep on sketching out these leaves. Leaves, not leaves, they're feathers. Leaves, the feathers of trees. As someone great once said. Even 0.4 is a bit thick, but you gotta remember it's gonna be tapered, so the end result looks like a bit more of a fine line. A Cheese Bob SquarePants render. That's what you're working on right now? Sounds good. Oh, by the way, guys, check out if you're kind of just hanging out while we do this. I saw this great website on Reddit yesterday. It's called 15.ai. That's the actual URL, just 15.ai. And it's an AI speech synthesizer. And you can type in whatever you want and have SpongeBob say it out. It's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool glimpse into the future. I mean, it's also a glimpse at how hard it's going to be to trust anything in a few, probably by the end of this year, you're going to have deep fakes everywhere. It's going to be a little bit of a disaster, but it's also pretty fun being able to control SpongeBob and make him say funny things to your friends or whatever. I can see that getting popular real quick. All right. This is the kind of stuff that relaxes me. Just easy. You don't really have to think about it. You're just drawing splines and tracing the lines. It's actually, this is pretty much tracing right now that I'm doing. And that's all right. It's what the job requires. Oh, making these really pointed profiles might be a problem. Let's do a quick test. It's another thing that's fun with Fusion. You can always leave a sketch, test out your idea, and then go back and finish it once it's confirmed or not. All right, so let's see what happens if we do an extrude cut minus 0.4 with a minus 45 taper. And we get an error. See, this is what I was talking about. Why do we get an error? Let's see what happens if we try to do a minus 0.1. Then it works. So now we play the game. How far can we extrude before Fusion gets angry? Ooh, looks like minus 0.2. No, 0.19. 0.199. Almost. 198. 7, 5. Come on, work with me. Just 0.19. All right, seems like that's the magic number. Oh, we definitely don't want this. But overall, how's that working? I think that'll work. I think that'll work. Yeah. Again, there's such small details that it'll be hard to, I don't know. I don't know how much these little tiny details will get picked up by the printer. But since it's a vertical, since it's on like a face that's vertical, we're not printing it on a flat face like the base, you can get a lot more small details. Have I discovered Studio C? No, I haven't. Unfamiliar. You finally caught a live stream. You did. I'm doing more of them nowadays. Anyways, so here we're just gonna have to cut this sketch off a little lower. That should be all we have to do there, right? Oh, now we get a problem because I did that. Really? That's enough to make it a problem. Wow. What happens if we do a new body instead? Sometimes if you can't do an extrude cut, you just make a new body and then cut that away. In this case, that's still not working. So really, that's so weird. All I did was make this not cut back there. Oh man. Fusion can be funky like that sometimes. Let's see if it does the 0.1 now. It does. Okay, so it is... I don't know exactly what's causing it. Something in this area. Oh, there it is. Look at it. It's coming like right to a weird point. It lets me go all the way to 0.18. Sometimes I'll just give in there and be like, all right, you win, Fusion. But it looks like here I just need to pull this down just the right amount so that it cuts into this part, but not this part. There we go. Let's see if it lets us do the 0.19 now. In fact, this spot, I guess that means that's what was limiting the entire cut here. It looks like this might be our problem area. Because how much further can I go? Well, you know what I can do actually? I can just, I can bring this down more. And then kind of have that go like that. So it's not overlapping here. And then I can deselect that little section. Boom. All of this to get that extra 0.005 millimeters. And not even that works. It gives us an extra 0.004 millimeters. But that's actually, I think that's what I want. I think that is a good level of depth of cut. Yeah, not bad. Let's keep on adding things and see what breaks it next. Oh, you know what I can do is project these lines. These are the exact center points. So this is really the extent to which I should bring each spline. I should go from here to this line. Of course, when you have a line hitting at an angle like this, when you offset it, one of these lines is not going to go as far as it needs to because it offsets straight out. So that's why I use the extend tool to bring it all the way here. And I can also use the trim tool to cut that away. Although, as you can see, I get a warning from that. It's messing with the constraints. This is a dangerous sketch right here where once it's done, if I try to change any little thing, it really could destroy the entire sketch. This is a part I might do in Illustrator if I was just doing this on my own, not live streaming, because I can't access Illustrator on this computer. That's really the only reason. But, I mean, bringing in SVGs and DXF files has problems of its own. So maybe that is for the best. Cal, I'm gonna go make some English muffins. Well, cheerio. All right. Still going for those subtle curves. I do crack myself up sometimes at the things that I decide are worth doing. No buffering. Yeah, sorry, this is the part that maybe isn't best suited for a live stream in terms of educational value. I'm really just gonna spend maybe the next 20-30 minutes tracing this out, but that means I can spend more time looking at chat. James Taylor, how is the Snapmaker 2.0 working for me? I love it. It's the best looking printer in my workshop. I did notice that the auto leveling isn't working perfectly for me. So it is, when I use the auto level feature, I think the back of the build plate is a little bit higher than the front. I was still able to get prints to stick down no problem. I did have some trouble with PETG. I don't know if that was I wasn't there when that one failed, so it's hard to say what caused it, but it definitely takes a long time to get to that temperature. I think it might be better off just for PLA. I mean, that's all I really like to use. And I was already thinking of actually just swapping out to the laser or the CNC head because I've got plenty of printers. I'm much more interested in the laser and CNC function. CNC mill function, excuse me. No, I'm really excited about the laser most of all. I want to do more laser engraving. I just got my hands on another much more substantial laser, which I will be reviewing in a little bit. Very excited to work with that as well. Got all sorts of stuff going on. But yeah, overall, I'm pretty happy with it, and I think it's a pretty awesome machine, the Snapmaker 2. It's just a nice thing to exist. It's like a positive thing for 3D printing in general. Let's increase the quality of our printers. Okay, looks like we're getting errors again already, even though I haven't selected any more faces or changed anything. That's awesome. What did I do now? This just might not work. Let's see if we just make it 0.18 again. Sacrifice that tiny bit. No, 0.1. Oh, nothing works now. Lovely. If we deselect it, oh, it works just fine. Wow, it lets us go, some of them let us go all the way to 0.2. All right, interesting. We might just have to do, how do I want to do this? If I get rid of the taper, it should be fine. Yeah. Maybe I add the chamfers back in after. Alden, thank you for the super chat. It also amazes me what I decide to make myself. Yes, us makers, we torture ourselves sometimes, but it's our hobby, right? Taryn, I'm pretty sure I could engrave cheese. Not saying I will. So this is what it looks like if we just do a straight extrude. Getting some problems here again, but let's see what happens if I project this outline here, actually. Make sure I'm not cutting away weirdly. That almost works. Let's see how it looks like in the render space. This gives us a good idea of the actual look. Like I said, super subtle, definitely. But a straight extrude like that, as you can see here in the render, it catches the shadows well. Might not as well in real life because, again, it's such a tiny little line. How long to print? I mean, I don't expect this to, well, that's wrong. It will take longer than the original Tippi Tree, maybe an extra hour. So maybe it's like 5 hours overall to print a nice detailed version of this. Quicker, depending on the layer height. Okay, yeah. Do I try to troubleshoot this right now, or do I deal with it later? Here's another thing I might be able to do later, which is use the draft function again. If I select this as the pull direction, then I might be able to select all of these faces. Although I'm sure that'll run into problems. See, then we can add the draft angle afterwards. Which I like. I like it if it works. Looks like it's working here, and this is the line that was giving us trouble, right? With the extrude function, so this might be the way. Look at that. Yeah, nice. Okay. I'm gonna try that on all of these right now, and if it works on all of these cuts I've done so far, then it should work for the entire leaf. Here's like the areas that would give us trouble, these little tiny slivers. Sure enough. But maybe I just ignore little tiny edges like that, and overall, no one will notice. Yeah, I mean, it looks a little weird. I might have to adjust some of the lines where there's just little things like that. But this is actually looking pretty good. I think this is the way. Haley Neal, as a beginner, would I recommend the Soval SV01? Yes, I would actually. I mean, it's always hard to recommend something because I have my experience with it. The Soval SV01 it has less of a user base, I guess, than like a Creality printer, but here's a little scoop I got for you. I'm pretty sure that the Soval machine, I'm pretty sure they got all their parts from Creality. It's basically them assembling a Creality printer, the Ender 3 V2, but they make it direct drive instead of a Bowden, which I prefer. So it's kind of just like a better Ender 3 V2. And for that reason, I think it should be just as reliable as an Ender printer, which is not to say it's perfectly reliable, but as a hobby level printer, I'm pretty excited to recommend that one. I think right now it's still the one I'm using the most. That and the SV03, which is just a larger version of that. Okay. I kind of still want to do all these lines individually, just so there's a little asymmetry, even though that's going to be not super exciting for the live stream. But I guess I should prioritize the end result, right? I don't want to bore you either, though. I mean, I guess most of you are kind of doing multiple things. Our generation is one of multitasking. So what are you guys doing while watching this stream? I mean, I know some of you are very intent here, which is awesome. Some of you are hopefully learning from this, actually. Some of you are just enjoying the company of the chat. Some like-minded makers. I'm always interested in what people are doing during the stream, because usually when I tune into a live stream, it's when I've got something else going on. It's nice background noise, but in this case, yeah, you can actually learn something as well. Like how to very slowly draw splines. Awesome, so we got some people just watching, some people doing some design on the iPad. A lot of eating going on. That's good. I like a well-fed user base. Cheeto, you're asking if I worry about parameters and making a nice timeline with projects like this. It definitely depends on what I think is going to happen with it. If it's like a Fusion file that I plan to share with the public, I do want it to be as nice and clean as possible. And yeah, but something like this, if I'm going to design another skin, it's most likely that I have to design it from scratch anyways, so there's no real benefit to being insanely obsessive about how organized the timeline is. I'm trying to do this in a timely fashion, and it's actually a little bit quicker for me to just do things the quick way. Whoa, what's going on here? Yeah, so I mean, I am trying to show you guys good practice. I am trying to have my timeline free of errors. Not like that's always the case for my designs. Sometimes I do just deal with some kind of error. Live with it. I mean, for one thing, this Tippi Tree, I took my original Tippi Tree file and just extruded over the face and stuff instead of going back and getting rid of the face. So there are definitely ways I could have made this timeline more efficient. And I didn't. So I guess that's my answer. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Boomtown, working on a 3D printed micro RC car. That sounds pretty fun. One of my first substantial 3D printing projects was an RC car in college. It was an assignment where we basically had to buy a nice RC car, you know, a legit one. It was like a $140 RC car. It's got like, you know, I don't know. I don't know anything about RC, honestly. But it was more than just your Toys R Us RC car, RIP. And the assignment was just to design it to be, just to redesign it. I wanted to do something special with mine, so I decided to make mine an exploding RC car. And I actually have a little video. If you search exploding RC car on my channel, you'll find a little video I made about it. That video kind of got overlooked, which is unfortunate, because I thought it was one of the coolest projects I've done. Of course, I didn't document the entire process, which I know you guys like to see. But I still think it's a fun project. I would love to have kept going with that, because Mario Kart battles in real life is basically what I wanted. Imagine like RC cars and you have to battle each other trying to get behind the other person and make their car explode. It's kind of like BattleBots, I suppose, but a little less destructive. which I guess is a downside. People like destruction. Maybe that's why it didn't get so popular. I needed an actual exploding RC car. Yeah, it's called Il Volo. That's what I named the car, which is Spanish for flight. Since the panels on the car just explode out in every direction. Maybe it's just hard to search because I used a foreign language to name my car. It makes it harder to find on YouTube. Sometimes it's the silly things that cause a video to be successful or not. Like my Me channel video, successful because of whoever left those crazy captions on the video. I'm very proud of that one, but I don't think it would have gone nearly as viral if people didn't leave those crazy captions. All right. Am I doing the right thing here? I think so. Okay. Those are all the lines that... Oh wait, we've got a little leaf here. It's never over. Oh, Italian. Yes, you're right. You're right. Not Spanish. Il volo means the flight, correct? Okay, see, I know why I'm naming things. No, that one was actually my dad's suggestion. He gave me that name and I was like, yeah, that sounds pretty darn cool for an RC car. Il volo. All right, I'm not gonna follow the line as closely here because I do want it to meet up right at the point here. I'm getting a lot of warnings. So I guess after this step, I might have some warnings in the timeline after all. Oh, like what's this? We've got a bad tangent. I'll just delete, oh wait, don't delete it entirely. Oh, it's so unhappy. Got a random point there. What happened here? Zoom, zoom. Oh, look at that. What a weird little error. The point ended up doing something real funky there. Maybe I want to flip that around. Oops. Let's delete that. And try again. Offset 0.4. Maybe I extend this original line first, and then I can offset it all. Maybe that original line is what caused the problem. Oh yeah, looks like these lines aren't meeting up or something. I'm just gonna do this one over again. It's being weird. That's another solution. Sometimes you just have to drop something and just try again. If Fusion doesn't want to do it, there's only so much you can beg and pray. Samantha, what is a poly panel? I don't think I have to explain that. I've got whole videos about my poly panels. I'll let my videos speak for themselves. Yeah, these finer details, it seems excessive maybe, but it does end up being really cool on the end result. I'm pretty excited about how this is going to print out. I don't feel like I'm wasting my time here. Sometimes I definitely waste my time with some of the things I design and worry about. But these details here are going to be stellar. If this works. Now, if I was doing this kind of modeling full time, I would definitely take the time to learn how to do this in Blender or something as such. I think it would be a little more effective and quick once you're good at it. But I'm not quite as good at anything 3D than compared to Fusion. Fusion's the go-to, so just about most things, it's the fastest way for me to do anything. Whoa, that's a weird one. I'm sure that'll give me a problem, but we'll get to it when we get to it. And this is off on the chamfer, so it won't even show up. Okay, I think we're good there. And this is already a pretty complex sketch, so instead of trying to right here mirror all those lines over to the other side, I'm just going to do my extrude cuts and all that, and then I'll mirror the features instead of the sketch, and I'll end up with the same result without quite as much strain on my computer. All right, so now we just go ahead and select all of these. And hope for the best. I expect a few of these to go wrong. It's just to be expected at this point. Like here we've got, yeah, this one was wild and it's not letting me select it, unsurprisingly. Let's see if all those work though. They do. That's pretty good. Just kidding. Wow, everything disappeared. Wow, Fusion. Cool stuff. Can you explain that? It looks good. But then when I go to cut it, it just disappears. Gotta love it. I'm just gonna leave this little line out anyways for now since it's so tiny. I don't think that's what was causing the problem though. This might be one where I do a new body and then cut it out. It lets me do the new body. Will it let me do the cut? If anything, I'll be able to diagnose what's causing the problem a little easier, maybe. Sometimes it just doesn't let you do stuff. Ah, Fusion. All right, well, this worked, so that's a good start. Actually, we might be better off drafting these before we cut it out. I think so. So I'm going to delete everything I did after here. As you see, I change my mind a lot while I'm designing, and that just shows you that there's many ways to do all of this stuff. Let's see, draft. Pull direction, dot, dot, dot. Wait. Is this right? No. We want the face to be what's on the front here so that it gets thinner, like that. Well, I think we have to hide everything else. Lips, nose, chin, eyeballs. Be gone! Oh, there's a little headpiece. Faces. Now it's not letting me select that face. Huh. Huh. This is where it becomes a riddle. Less about how to design things and just more about how to make it work in Fusion. That works. That works. All right, now it's letting me select faces again. That angle, I think we had it at something like -40. Perfect. I'll hit OK right now just to confirm that much. I'll save it. We got that much. Now I can go back and edit the feature and continue seeing how much I can get done here. And I only have to select the parts that are going to be cut out, not the end caps here, because those are kind of running off the edge. So I can leave those. And that gets rid of one more potential thing that could fail, so that's nice. What program is similar to Fusion? So Fusion is what's known as a CAD program. It's known as a parametric software, which is basically where you have this timeline that allows you to make changes way back here and have it update all the way up here. So parametric design is pretty much standard for designing products and such, where you think you might have to make changes. There's not really any cheaper alternative than Fusion. In fact, as a personal user, you can get a free license to use Fusion 360. It's kind of hidden nowadays. They make you search for it because they would like to collect your money. But if you're just a personal user not making profit, then you can use Fusion just as a way to teach yourself. And then once you have the skills to actually use that to start your own product business or whatever you need to do, then hopefully you can afford Fusion. Or if you're strategic like me, you do YouTube tutorials, and that's my way of basically paying Fusion so that I don't have to actually pay for Fusion. I recently joined their super user program, and basically I'm helping them promote it, right? By doing a video like this, I'm helping them promote this software, and I'm using it because I love it. So I think it's a win-win for everyone. All right. Moment of truth. Let's see if we can cut all of these out of the tree. All the drafts worked like that. So yeah, it definitely is handy to sometimes build a body and cut that away instead of just trying to do an extrude cut right off the bat. That one worked, that one worked. We're good. It comes down to this one, which was causing us some problems earlier. Let's see. Ooh, nice. Now let's see if it actually cuts it. Nice! Awesome, we did it! High five. Psh. I know that's Joel thing, but I can give high fives too, right? I'm gonna move this leaf a little bit. It's really thin here and really thick there, but yes, this is success. This should not be understated. It paid off. And look at that, it's even letting me adjust the line without yelling at me. Fusion, they heard me. They said maybe something should work out for Devin right now. Cool. We did it. Now we just have to mirror all of those features. So we'll mirror the extrude, or we can just, actually, let's do it another less stressful way. We'll just mirror these bodies. So I'll hide the tree, go to mirror, mirror bodies, and now we can just select all of these. And the mirror plane is actually this surface right here. Boop. Bam, doubled. Gave us an error. Said it failed even though it worked. I guess it was that join. Okay, we'll just do it as new bodies since it doesn't matter. Wouldn't matter anyways, but I'm trying to not have broken things in my timeline today. Now we'll just go ahead and select the tools on this half as well, and it shouldn't give us any problems because it's exactly symmetric. Yeah! It looks crazy when we have the lines here, right? Like, a lot of this looks really awkward and weird, but once it's actually modeled and printed out like this, I think it'll look just fine. This face again. This reminds me of, what's his name? Schmitty Van from SpongeBob. He was number 1. Schmitty Van Jagerman Jensen. Is that right? Did I get that right? Oh my gosh, the things you remember. I probably didn't get it right. Anyways, now we can go ahead and merge all of this. Not a cut, we want to join everything. Yes. Boom, we're done with the front of the face. More or less. Awesome, thank you. Thank you, I couldn't have done it with y'all. 200 people here cheering me on to success. I love it. I love it. It came out so similar to the sketch. I'm proud of myself, guys. I'm pretty proud of myself. I think just this little line has to get a little thinner. I didn't realize this is supposed to be one single leaf. I thought this was like 2 little leaves coming together, but it looks like it might be one big leaf in the middle. So I need to make that line a little thinner. Is this where I break everything? Let's find out. So yeah, I want that to kind of be the same 0.4 millimeter gap as all the other leaf lines. Is this where I break it? Let's see. See what that did. Fusion, are you gonna be awesome right now? Yes, Fusion's being awesome. Oh, I think we said the right things. Get on its good side. Awesome. That's it. That was the last little thing that was bothering me. Right, why do I keep calling it leaves? Maybe because it's Tippi Tree. It's feathers. Feathers and leaves. Actually, I'm realizing... Not my fault. Blame Jen, but look at the feathers are actually pointing downwards. These veins should be going upwards. If this is like a standard feather cap. Whoops. I'm just gonna say it's leaves. I am gonna take a quick water break, not a cheese break, but this is a good time to take a break, and let's do another cool render. I'm gonna make this render take longer because it always finishes before I get back. I want to give you guys something to look at. So I'm gonna render this with some depth of field. Depth of field is a great way to make it take longer. We just got to make sure to set an appropriate amount of blur. Let's give it, ooh, maybe we can put him in an environment. Let's put him in the field. Tippi Tree, alone in the field. Tip with me, and you'll know how it feels. This is what it looks like if you have a Tippi Tree out in the bright daylight. I'll bring the brightness down a bit. Right about there. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. I like it. There, we got to get a view of the farm in the background. Anyone have a guess what country this photo is from? Definitely looks European. I'm guessing Germany. Looks similar to my mom's hometown in Keltern. All right. Let's also let's make the wood a little bit darker. Oh yeah. That's the tiki color. That is the color of tiki. I'll save as well. Good call. And look at that. It's already like rendered all the way. Fusion is too quick at rendering. We'll set it to infinite. I can make it out of glass or something. Then it'll never finish rendering. Yeah, okay. I'll be right back. All right. We're back. Oh no, it's dark. It's too dark. No. Can't fade in into the dark. Okay, there we go. Love it. Tippi Tree looks great. And you know what? I don't think I am going to add that texture around here on the cheek because it's already the perfect level of detail, I think. Adding that stuff would just be, well, unnecessary. The sides and stuff, yeah, maybe something around the back. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I frankly just don't think it's worth it to go all the way around with the feather cap, for example. I think this is kind of just that design that's meant to be viewed from the front, more or less. Or am I being terribly lazy? I don't know. The forehead crest seems like it is too close to the top to not interfere with the hanging leaf blocks. Yeah, I considered that. That's another reason not to go all the way around. But I don't think that's a problem. It's honestly it's pretty unusual that you have a leaf hanging off the side like that. And if you do, well, that's the skin for you. Otherwise, yeah, even the nose would be in the way if it's really hanging off like that. But in terms of a regular piece being hooked on, it's not going to be in the way at all. So that's kind of the level of interference, just a little bit of interference that I'm willing to allow in order to have this nice Tippi Tree skin. Carl. The background looks like a place where cows live and cheese is produced. You too. Cheese duo. Yeah, let's see what happens if I just mirror the face to the other side. I think that's acceptable. The easiest way to do that is actually just to split this entire model down the middle and mirror it. It's actually a very quick process. Ready? Schwamp. Cut. And mirror. There we go. What do you think? Is that better? There's the side view. I think that works. Let me show you what would happen if we put it on all four sides. Well, yeah, you'd have that weird nose here, like I mentioned. Yeah, I don't know. I like this cheek detail too much to cut it away and make it a four-way symmetry. But let's try that a few different ways. Let's try it. We might as well see what it would look like. The first thing I'll do is just literally stack two on top of each other. So I'll just use the move tool. I'll select this from the center point and create a copy. And then just rotate that 90 degrees. Boom. And you can see it messed with the chin a bit. Oh yeah, because it's back into there. I mean, it actually, this looks like ears, right? It kind of works. I could make this work. It's cool because it takes the work I did and makes it look 4 times as impressive. I think that's what I like about it. It's a very quick way to make it do a lot more. All right, I think I have to do a poll here. I think we have to do a poll. I'm gonna run a poll in the chat real quick, guys, because I want to see if you guys like it on one side, front and back, or all four sides. And I will fix the chin if you do like it on all four sides, but maybe I'm just I don't know. I think it looks cool, but maybe that's just because it's saving me work. Some people say yes, yes. Some people say no, no. All right, so I'm creating a straw poll right now. I'll put it in the chat in a second. How many faces for Tippi Tree? 1, 2, or 4. Sorry, fans of 3 faces, it's not gonna happen. And create poll. Share. Let's get the link. All right, I'll throw the link in here. I told you, I'm putting a poll in. Go to the poll link. Don't spam the chat. There it is. I'll post it a few times because you guys are chatting away. But at 6, I'll give you guys like 3 minutes to vote. 6:30, 6:25. We'll see how many faces this tiki has. In the meantime, I'll once again show you a few of the options. So here we have the four face guy. It will pretty much look like this, except I'll fix the chin part. It'll be a little bit thinner on the bottom, because if we go back to the 2, as you can see, it's thinner here than it is wide here. 2 faces does look pretty good too, honestly. It's a tough decision. That's why I'm asking you. Even just the one side is probably most like an actual tiki. Tiki butt. I do like the idea of a tiki butt, but it's not happening. Invert the mouth. Yeah, I don't know. It's not as easy as just taking the mouth and flipping it around, though. I would have to do some actual redesign, and it would be quite tricky. Tricky tree. It would be a tricky tree. Okay. You're still spamming the chat, but I'm going to check the official poll. Let's see how it's going. Oh, so far, overwhelmingly 4 sides. 60% of you, with almost 100 votes in. We got 94 votes. Okay, well, I was going to say cap it off at 100 votes, but I don't think there's any way for the others to catch up. 94 votes. More than half of you like it on all 4 sides. Now it is changing the profile. It is changing the front view, because in the front view of the drawing, there's nothing going on the sides here. But it kind of works. It looks like ears and like cheeks. I guess you could also imagine, in real life, you're probably going to see it at an angle sometimes, like that. It's like Two-Face, but it works. How big is this print going to be? It's going to be normal Tippi Tree size, so just that big. I mean, maybe I'll make a bigger one someday. All right. So now there are some weird things here where it's meeting up with itself. All the leaves are filled in right now, so this is not the way we're actually going to do it. But we are going to do it. The votes are in. And I mean, I know I have final say, but I gave you all the choice, and I'm pretty okay with that decision. I think 4 faces looks pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is actually create a triangle section like this. And then I'm just going to do a 4-way pattern with that section. And that should prevent some of the weirdness where the faces meet up. We'll see how this works. If it somehow looks terrible, then maybe I won't do it, but I think it should work. So I'm cutting the triangle and doing an intersect command. So we're leaving everything, or we're getting rid of everything but that triangle. Looks funny like this. Could be a good phone holder, right? There's a little hole here where that mouth meets. I could fill it in, and I don't know. I don't know how much that will affect the print. Maybe we try to close it up a little bit. What if I select chamfer on this edge right here, pull that up, it won't let me get rid of it completely. What is that doing on this side? It creates a little thingy thing here that, I mean, you can't really see any of this. I think I might just want to fill it in with an extrusion. Yeah, because otherwise it's kind of creating a little pillar there that might cause some problems. Probably wouldn't, but to be safe, let's see, what am I going to do? I think I can just make a big rectangle around it and fill it in. We'll see how that looks on the other side. Oh, it is creating a block there. We might need to fill in a little larger. Let's see. Or I could do a tapered fill extrusion. I mean, it's hidden, so it's kind of up to me how I want to do this. There we go. Oh, that filled it in really nicely, actually. Boom. Awesome. So I can take that, and I need to mirror it through here. So, wow, I think there's another tiny hole. Sometimes if I zoom out, there's a dot right there. When I zoom in, it's gone. What does that really mean? I think it's just Fusion being weird. Anyways, to mirror this feature we just did, we can select this face and construct a midplane. Oh, whoops, that's exactly the same as our right plane, so I don't even need to do that. I just need to enable the origin, click and hold so that I can select that face, select the mirror tool, mirror features, and we're going to select that extrude that I just did. And that's going to fill in the hole on this side as well. Boop. Done. Alrighty, final thing to do now is to just do a circular pattern. We're going to pattern this 4 times and we'll have our Tippi Tree again. The axis is this corner right here, which is also the z-axis. Boop. There we go. And we can do the combine function. Join it all back together into one happy Tippi Tree. Yeah, crazy. It has got it going on. I think I'm gonna do a chamfer here as well. We kind of lost the chamfer by doing that little bit. Oh, really? It's not gonna let me do that chamfer because of this thing? 0.99, no, 0.95, 8, 7, 6, good enough. And maybe blend that into here. Can we do a blend? Ah, nothing happens. I'm still waiting for to take advantage of this new feature the new feature to have different chamfer types. But it looks like it doesn't work on this kind of chamfer where they meet at this weird angle. It's a little weird, right? I guess this is again where it's like, wouldn't actually make a difference. But I want the chamfers to line up better, so I'm gonna make them slightly different. Like that, I'm gonna have to visually line it up. 0.784. Seems like the magic number. Sweet. And what are we, 2.5 hours into the stream? Just about. And yesterday we streamed for 3.5 hours or so. So let's call it 3 hours of modeling. Took about 5 hours to make this. It's a lot of time, but not that much time, you know? If I sat down, I could probably do this entire thing in a day. I imagine the base is going to take another several hours. Save it. Of course I want to save it here. Yeah, I'm going to miss that chin feature a little bit going into the back, but we voted. This is all about doing it with the community, you know? The design was created by the community, in a way, through the competition. Now you guys are helping me make decisions. Look at him. All right, let's render it one more time. I can't help myself. He looks pretty cool. Yeah, awesome. Was it worth it, Bird? I think it was worth it. I definitely think it was worth it. And I gotta give big shout outs to use in the chat the two main problems. I'll be honest, I don't remember exactly who suggested each thing. But anyways. Well, I think let's see. Oh no, sometimes it starts the rendering over again. I think it was, who was it? Oh yeah, Ches RX. Ches RX is the one who told me to look at the pupils of the eye. So I managed to fix that, and they look great now. And yesterday, someone suggested using the split body command to get that cavity for the eye socket, which was giving me trouble. And it looks great. It all looks great. All right, time for the roots. Make the root pattern higher at the center than the outer edges. Yeah, I was thinking about how to do the roots here. If you look at the drawing, let's take a look at the top view now. It is time. If we look at the drawing, the roots are all very tiny and detailed, but they're fatter here, and then they get thinner and thinner out towards the edges, in the same way that roots kind of sink down into the ground. Now, this looks like something that would be algorithmically created using some kind of code. And I bet there would be a really cool way to do that, and there's some really talented coders who would be able to do it. That's not how I'm going to be able to do it. And I might have to depart from this a bit, because these are looking really thin, and they are going to have to be raised, which means they have to be at least 0.8 millimeters thick to just barely be able to print out. So, how am I going to do this? I could try to do each width of root independently, and as I get thinner, just make those extrusions shorter, so it kind of looks smaller and smaller. That could look cool. I could also extrude all of them at one height and then kind of cut away to make it kind of more like a cone, so that it kind of fades into the ground like that, which would look cool, but it would look, I think it would match the look of this tiki a little less. It's very blocky, so I think I should just keep it blocky. Pretty much square extrusions with chamfers. It's super detailed. It's a little intimidating. Okay, Reed, you really want to know the story of my tattoo, huh? This tattoo I designed myself. It was just something I drew on the airplane when I was flying to Peru with my siblings. For those of you who don't know, I'm half Peruvian. That was my first time visiting Peru. I almost got the tattoo in Peru, but I was convinced not to, because that would be quite quite something to try to have a tattoo healing while I'm on vacation. Doesn't sound so pleasant, so thank you to my sisters for discouraging that. But when I got back home, I got it tattooed. And basically, it's an image I draw. I was reading a lot about Stoicism and thinking about how chaotic life can be, but at the same time, your own perception determines how you feel about life. I know, some people think it's super cheesy. I don't explain my tattoo often, but basically, the triangle represents the structure that you create. It's your own perception, your view of life is the structure. And then these wavy lines are kind of the flow of life and nature and just the entropy of existence. You determine your own fate is basically what I'm trying to say. Well, no, it's more so fate is going to happen, but you determine how you feel about that and what you take away from it. I don't know. It's also just a kind of cool looking tattoo, right? That's really what I'm going for. No, but I mean, I never really was sure that I would get a tattoo, so that was also my way of tying it in with the whole idea. It's just like, YOLO. Might as well get a tattoo because life is a little silly sometimes. So what's more silly than drawing art on your skin? Ah, yes. Great. I know. Cringe. Okay, let's start drawing these roots. So there's only 2 really fat roots here. Gosh, this is so detailed. Do I even try to trace these roots, or should I just basically capture that same style, but do it in a different, whatever pattern comes out of the way I draw it? I don't know. No, I think we can do this. I won't finish tonight, but we can do this. I'm actually thinking I'm just gonna cut the top of the tiki off, because that's done. I don't want to mess with him right now. So I'm gonna go use the split body command. Will it let me just select this face? Yes, perfect. Poop. Pooped him off of there. Get out of here. Chop down the tiki tree. Chunk. All right. Make a line or so and then just copy it and change the size. Matthew, you're willing to code the roots. In 30 minutes? You think you could do that in 30 minutes? And you're gonna send it to me as a 3D file or as a vector, and then I still have to figure out the heights and stuff. I don't know, that'd be cool. But I think I'm still gonna do it. Okay, Matt. I don't know how you're gonna get this to me or anything. In fact, I don't know you. But if you're willing to do this, like I said, this is a community project. Sure. You're confident. Okay, do it then. I'll work on the rocks and the plants. And if you can get some roots ready before I do the rocks and the plants, or by the time I'm done with that, a script, like a script that I run in Fusion? Gosh, I'm scared. I'm scared you're gonna somehow make my computer explode. Or you're gonna turn it into cheese. Yeah, go for it. I'll draw the rocks then. It's less stressful for me to do the rocks and the leaves right now, so I'll give you that. And I'll be stoked if you can do it. Go, Matt. All right, let's draw rocks. So the way I'm going to do these rocks is actually kind of a fun sculptural way too. I'm just going to trace the top, extrude it, and then just cut out facets at different angles, or do a few chamfers until I've carved a rock shape. So that should be pretty easy. In fact, I can do all of these rocks. I'm going to do them all in one sketch here. And I'm going to use straight lines. Even though they are still kind of curvy, I'm going to start with it completely straight, hard edges, and then right before I finish, I'll fillet everything a little bit. So it looks more like a real organic rock. You know what? Honestly, a script that turns any file into cheese might do well on the internet. Who knows? That's kind of one thing I want to see more of. I know like Thingiverse has customizer tools and stuff, but I'd love to just see various 3D printing apps that let you do just like individual functions like that. Like the Cheesify app. Throw your STL in here and it'll turn into cheese. And I expect a lot more stuff like that to come out in the next few months and years, because it seems like something that AI can definitely help out with. I know these little rocks are way more rounded and pebbly, but I'm still making them with straight lines. Anyways, it's very quick. I may change my mind on that, I don't know. I just realized that the leaves are also rotational symmetry. This right here is the reverse of this. Just rotate it around. The roots too. This must have been created in the Procreate app, I'm guessing. I really thought it was done with colored pencils, but those iPad apps are very convincing nowadays. So that must be how she got the symmetry. Pretty cool. The question is, yeah, I guess I should keep the symmetry of the rocks, right? It's kind of fun because it's like if you have two players playing from opposite sides of the tree, you get the same image, right? We got that now with the tiki face on all four sides. Yee, I like this. I don't know if this is smart that I'm doing with the rocks here. In fact, these are already so tiny, I might have to just make them bigger or avoid them, because let's measure some of this. This face. Let's see. 1.25 millimeters. It could be printed. It's going to be a tiny little speck of plastic. I mean, if Matt creates this without the symmetry, I'll be fine with that too. I know I might have to move some of my rocks around and stuff. I'm still waiting to have my mind blown if that gets pulled off. I feel like that's something that would take me months. So I'm just going to extrude this to the height of the tallest rock, which is this one right here. I think right about there will be good. I'll make them new bodies, because I might do some cuts underneath as well. We could do some undercuts. These are going to be all the same color when they're printed, even though rocks and leaves obviously wouldn't all be brown, but such is the nature of this tree. If you want multicolor, you're going to have to paint it. Bro, if you're in Germany and it's almost 4 a.m., I feel you. I pull those late nights too, but I think you ought to get some sleep. All right, now I'm just going to start extruding down these shorter rocks. I'll just do all of them one at a time using arbitrary numbers because I'm trying to make this look kind of random and natural. But they're pretty much all going to be about as tall as they are wide, I guess. If I did a really tall, thin rock like this, it probably wouldn't be too long before they snap off of your Tippi Tree set, you know? Even little straight extrusions like this look kind of fun. Jack, thank you for the super chat. I know that's not your name, but With an $800 budget, yeah, you might want to go with the Prusa MK3 just for reliability. But if you want the larger size, I mean, I wouldn't go for the CR10S4 unless you really plan on only printing large things. Giant printers like that can become a hassle, especially if you don't need giant parts, and most people don't. It's pretty much just like if you're doing cosplay, then yeah, get a huge printer. But otherwise, if you're gonna print an occasional big thing here or there, just print it in a way that you can break it up into parts, right? It's not worth having to wait longer for your bed to heat up every time. This or that. All right, so here I'm just gonna start throwing some chamfers on. I guess I should make them all a little bit different. Whoops. So I'll just do a chamfer, add a new edge, drag that one in. Whoops, I keep selecting things. No. There we go. Yeah, it's a quick way to get a bunch of different facets and make a kind of rock-ish looking shape. Not perfect, but pretty good. I think it looks good. Maybe do a little one here. And yeah, some on the bottom as well. I will make these 2 distance so that they're very easy to print. Even though a printer should be able to handle 45 degrees, sometimes with a big flat surface like that, it gets a little harder to do the overhangs. So I'll do pretty shallow ones for this. And as you can see, it rounds out quite nicely with just a few chamfers. Oops, I can't select that edge because it's part of this. I could break this up into several things as well, but I don't know. Did I overdo it? I think that's pretty good. I'm probably gonna do a second run of chamfers to like hit this line. Yeah, let's just hit OK. Sometimes I get carried away and I want to do everything in a single process, even though it's not necessary. Ooh, I can do all kinds of fun stuff just by dragging these lines around. Now the top is a flat surface, so that's going to get printed as a single top surface. I don't want to make that area too small or it'll probably turn into a glob. And this might be a good file actually to start separating the base from the tree. I might make that version for this tree because the tree is all a single shape. And once you start adding little rocks and stuff like this, that's when the printer has to start jumping around between all the different shapes, which a printer can usually do, but it can lead to stringiness, especially with some materials. I don't know. We'll see. There we go. We just overlap enough of these chamfers, we start getting real organic-y looking rocks. I said I was going to fillet this, but I don't think I'll be able to because there's so many small edges. And I don't think I have to. It's already getting organic enough just by adding so many chamfers. I think that right there, oh well, there. That's a rock. I mean, I could also make a version of this file. I could make a multicolor version where you print out all the rocks individually, but I guess a lot of printers would have trouble printing out a rock that's that big, so maybe not. I'll stick, no, I said it has to work as a single color. I'm gonna stand by that. If you want multicolor, you're free to paint the model, right? And it would be fun to encourage some people to get into painting models. I need to do it more often. It's super cool. There we go. Just a little something there. Yeah, those are some very shallow angles, but it's printing it's printing vertically, so a little angle change like that doesn't make it harder to print. If I was to have a lot of shallow angles on the top, that might look kind of funky on the print. If you print, you know that. Like a very shallow, like almost flat surface, but a slight angle, that's gonna have a lot of steps with all the layers. That's what I'm kind of worried about with the leaves that I have to add. But hey, we'll get there. A 3D pen version. You know what? This exact whole scene with the roots and leaves and rocks would actually be a pretty ideal project to do with a 3D pen. So maybe I should just do kind of like a blank version where you add all of this yourself. That'd be fun. This is the thing about 3D printing is you got so many options and you can do all of them. I could spend the rest of my life making Tippi Tree skins. But at the same time, I've got a lot of ambitions, a lot of projects that I want to work on. But I also don't want to sell Tippi Tree short. It's such a cool thing I worked really hard on. So I'm not going to just like move on right away and start making other things. I do have other things. I mean, I can multitask, you know? I'm making some really cool other things right now that I'll be sharing my next video. I'm super excited about my next video, by the way. Not that I'm going to spoil it, but just know I'm excited. Okay, that one looks good. Okay. Please yell at me if I make a really stupid looking rock. Although it's hard to go wrong, right? With a rock. I'm just trying to avoid too much symmetry, which is kind of a fun challenge. Whoa! I didn't mean to click on that face, but that did a lot with very little. No. Okay, does that mean you're ready? You got everyone waiting on you, man. You made a big commitment with that one little chat. I appreciate the ambition. I'm waiting to be impressed. But yeah, like I was saying, all those kinds of, like, the fact that you can design a script like that, that kind of stuff should be more popular in 3D printing. I don't know, just like tools and apps that let you create cool things without necessarily having to model every little thing. As much as I encourage everyone to learn how to design and model their own things, because it's super handy, like you can fix anything you own. As much as I love that, I gotta be realistic. Some people don't have time to gain design skills, but I still want those people to be able to make things that they want. And by having some kind of software like that, that'd be the way to do it, right? What are my thoughts on SolidWorks, Kyle? I have nothing against it. I just think Fusion, well, I do like Fusion more. Of course, now I'm way more used to Fusion. I think I could still manage SolidWorks. I like that they're both very similar, so you can move between both. Oh, Matt, you can send it to contact@makeanything.design, which is my new contact email, by the way. For anyone who, I don't know, don't send me useless emails because I get enough of those, but anytime you have business inquiries or anything, contact@makeanything.design. GNZ, do I do freelance work on the side? Is it mostly graphic design or product design? Starting out, I did a lot of graphic design freelance, but nowadays my specialty is clearly 3D printing. That's what people know me for. So that's usually what I end up doing. I don't really advertise my design services because I have so many of my own personal projects, and usually I'd much rather do my own thing, but if someone has a great need or a great offer, then yeah, I'll still do freelance now and then. But yeah, I'm doing less and less of it because I get to do things like make Tippi Tree instead. Why would I not jump on that opportunity? Okay, I'm adding a lot of facets on this little one, but I don't know. It still didn't look quite right. I think that's pretty good. Nathan, how similar are Onshape and Fusion? Onshape, I was about to start learning it before, I don't know if it was before Fusion had a free license. They must have, no. I only used Fusion when it was free, right? But, I don't know. I don't remember exactly what it was, but something took me away from Onshape. Maybe the fact that everything had to be stored on the cloud, and you only had so much that you could, or all of the designs had to be public for the free account. I think that's what it was. I didn't want to spoil all my projects by having them all be public on Onshape before I make a video. So yeah, I never put too much effort into learning it, so I can't really tell you how similar it is. As long as there's a free version of Fusion, I think it's going to be my go-to for recommending. Doesn't get much better than that. All right, this one's got a little pointy bit here. Or do I? There we go. Yeah. Yeah. It's weird how I can be so particular about a shape that's meant to look completely random. Well, I will check my email, but do you want me to just drop my rocks? I still have 2 rocks to do. Should I just go straight to the roots? I don't even know how to, I'm gonna have to learn how to run a script. Okay, hold on. I'm not gonna go out and show you all my email. All right, I'm doing it, friends, I'm doing it. Make more number videos? Oh, I don't know. I think that ship has sailed, but I can do very similar things to the numbers. I definitely want to do more CNC projects. I gotta remember, I just started this new email, so I don't even know my password. Okay, I have to check on my other computer. Wow. I don't know my own password. How nice. All right, okay. Cool. All right, I got the cheese emails. That's why you were so eager for me to look at my email, huh? Nice cheese pictures. I'm not sharing my email though. Oh, Matthew, you sent me an email that says test, and that's all. You gotta send me the script. I do have a Discord channel, but it's for patrons only. So for $2 a month, you can join my Patreon. Is that so bad? Yeah, Matthew, I just got an email that says test. There's no file attached. Was that your first test? Anyways, I'll check again in a bit. But for now, I'm gonna keep making rocks, I guess. I don't know if you're just punking me, man. How do I know you're not just saying that you're doing that? I guess it doesn't matter, since I have to do these rocks anyways. I still feel like I'm gonna get punked. It doesn't seem like an easy script to make. But then again, I know that there is unlimited talent on the internet, right? So, I'm not trying to throw shade or anything. I'm just waiting. Just waiting. Carl and Taryn, do you know each other? You're both like somehow instantly formed this cheese cult. History will remember thy name, Masters of Cheese. I mean, you're giving me something to talk about at the very least. You're letting me express my confusion. And maybe I'm enabling you way more than I should, but what can I say? You're funding my live streams right now. Funny. Y'all are funny. All right. I like that one. One more little pebble to knock out. The chat is silent? I wouldn't necessarily say so. Slowing down a little maybe, but we still got 160 viewers here, which is pretty darn good. I'm very happy with that. You know, I've done several live streams where there's like 20 people in the room. It's funny. You can have nearly 500,000 subscribers on YouTube, but it doesn't mean you're going to have an audience when you go live. But no, I'm just doing this because I was going to design these Tippi Tree skins one way or another, right? So I'm spending the time to do it. Might as well create some entertainment at the same time. Maybe share a tip or two. I think so. All right, new email. Oh, sorry. Wow, okay. I do that every time. I forget to switch my view. Anyways, you know, more of the same. Adding chamfers to, to funky looking blocks. Now you know how to make low poly rocks. See, you don't have to be trying to make a tiki tree to learn something here. Now if you ever try to make a low poly rock, you know, just do some 2 distance chamfers. throw them all over. I think it's working out all right. Quite all right. Okay, file was sent. Hold on, I just got like one more chamfer. I don't know why this chamfer isn't working. Of all things, I can't do this one little chamfer. Okay. I'm gonna jump on the email in 1 second. I just need to fix this rock. I can't just walk away from this rock right here. All right, I think that works. Almost. I don't know. I think it needs one more. Yeah, there we go. Don't want any of the edges to be too sharp. All right, give that a savey save. Switch modes again so I can forget to switch it back afterwards. And we have an attachment. It is a Python file. Steps, all right. I'm counting on you guys to tell me if my computer is about to get hacked right now. Download a Python file from python.org. Oh, it's just Python so that I can run Python. I might already have it, but I guess I should download the latest version just in case. I do trust python.org at the very least. Open command prompt and type pip install web browser. Pip install time. Step 3. Open the file on camera. Oh my gosh, you're such a liar, aren't you? You're such a liar. I'm gonna open it on camera the second time, not the first time. I'm very suspicious now. I mean, I'm one for a good little prank here and there, but I don't know if this is gonna get me demonetized or kicked off of YouTube. You guys gotta see this from my point of view. Hmm? All right, let me download this script. It is a .py file. I'm so suspicious about every little thing. You say it won't get me kicked off. You swear. Hold on. I'm gonna edit with Notepad. Wow, there's a lot of code here. Okay. Okay. I saw it, but I'll still run it. That it was successful. Disable path length limit. I mean, I'm not even so suspicious of you. I just feel like I'll somehow break my own computer just by not following instructions or something. Is Python installed now? I don't know. Open the command prompt. Why do I have to install a web browser? PIP is not recognized as an internal or external command, operable program, or batch file. Your instructions aren't working for me. Or is it a specific command prompt for Python? I don't, oh, Python app. Ah, there we go. It's got its own command prompt, okay. Is this what Raspberry Pi runs on? I'm so useless when it comes to coding. PIP install web browser still didn't work. Invalid syntax. I can't show right now because I have my email open. Well, install syntax. Okay. I might as well learn some coding right now, right? Why isn't this working? PIP install time. Invalid syntax. Am I missing something? That's a shell. Go online. Now you're taking my time. I was supposed to finish these rocks and these roots. This was supposed to be a quick prank. I don't know. I'm not gonna look up tutorials right now. You were supposed to tell me how to do it. I was supposed to get a script and run it. Now, sounds a little too time consuming for this stream. Not gonna lie. If you can't teach me how to install it, I'm not gonna go look it up. There, we got some rocks anyways. I am on Windows. R. I'm just gonna name all of these R for rock. Well, these are actually, there's no reason for me not to merge these right away, I guess. They are supposed to have a little bit of grass sticking out. That's the kind of stuff I don't think I'll be able to, I don't think I can do little wisps of grass or anything in a way that prints nicely. That really is where a 3D print would look good. You guys want to see the code? It's okay. I guess you'll get the joke without it. You'll get the joke just by reading the script. It's not the way it was meant to happen, but it's the best I can do, Matt. For your betrayal. Is that too strong a word? Betrayal? I was hoping for roots. I wanted roots. Here's Matt's lovely code. Import web browser in time. That's what I was supposed to install. Then it's going to say mismatch error. You're trying to type an error. Everything goes wrong. This is me trying to interpret code. Generate a bunch of numbers. Do all kinds of math. Make more numbers. And eventually, this I understand. This I understand. A Rickroll. Actually, that's a bit.ly link, so even that could be a virus. Come on, Matt. You really think I could, just open links sent to me on the internet? I've learned better than that. Yeah, sorry, Matt. I showed your code. That's what happens when I don't get roots. I'm not angry, but I'm disappointed. Son, I'm disappointed, son. Okay, I'm getting back to work now. Enough of that. All right, so we're gonna select all of these and we're gonna do a circular pattern around the z-axis, which is the exact center of our model. This is why you always start your model about the origin. Kind of looked cool with the 3. It looks way more organic. Ooh, even 4 looks good. But I guess that's going to be filled out with roots. I'm all about the 4-way symmetry after we did that face, you know? The 3-way actually looks really cool too. Maybe I'll do this, and since some of these are hanging off, I'll move them around. So it'll be almost symmetric, but not quite. I think I'm going to do it. This is my first venture away from the original design. For one thing, I can't do these little sprouts of grass. There's not really any great way to do the grass sprouts, I think. So I might as well replace those with a few more rocks. Is that fair? I think so. So I'll just like use the move tool. Kind of just arrange them here. So it's a little more randomized. Yeah, there's duplicate rocks, but they're in different positions. Maybe I won't combine these with the final model just yet. Just in case I do end up wanting to do something differently. Matt is not banned. He's just banned from sending me code. Don't be sad. You tried. You tried to punk me is what you tried. No worries. I'm back in business. Oh, I got so many of these little tiny ones. There we go. See, that looks pretty good, and it's basically just replacing the areas that had those little grass sprouts. These big leaves I can probably pull off. I am tempted to merge them all right now just because look how much space it takes up in my timeline here. But what you can do is create a group of bodies, and I can just call this group rocks. Rocks. Take all of these and put them in there. Boop, and I can hide them and bring them back all at once. Groups are handy as well. Sahil, yeah, ZBrush is another software I'd like to learn, except for ZBrush itself is very expensive. I know they have Sculptress, which is like the free beginner version, but also Blender has made some big strides with their sculpting capabilities. I did some sculpting in Blender when I did my drum feet. If you guys remember my cool stool video, I made some little claws for my drum stool, and I did that in Blender, and it worked out. So I can do some stuff in there. Yeah, the rocks look good. It's gonna look like clumps of dirt, I guess, when it's all printed out in the same color. Adobe Mudbox. No, I haven't used that. I think I almost downloaded it once when I was working with photogrammetry. Does it have something to do with photogrammetry? Or is it another sculpting? Is it like the Autodesk sculpting app? There will never be a cheese only eating stream. I give you so much. I gave you a full slice of Munster yesterday. Are you not satisfied? I've played your little cheesy games. Okay, so for these leaves, I think I'm going to do a similar thing where I just extrude them from the bottom and then I'll add the curve, the swoop of the leaf on top. Because otherwise, it's going to look a little silly. It's going to look like a fat leaf. Well, I'm just trying to make it in a way that can print quite easily. So either I have to make the leaves completely flat or fat, you know? Flat or fat, what do? I'll start out by sketching them from the top view either way. Ha! That would be interesting. Origami Ninja. It would be very complicated, so I'm not going to do it for a file that I distribute, but it's kind of a fun idea for a project. With a model like this, I could theoretically print all the way up to here, then stop the print, switch filaments, print these rocks on top of the print, then switch back to the brown and print the rest of the Tiki Man. That's actually a pretty cool idea as an interesting way to get multicolor prints without only swapping on layers. You know? That's a pretty fun idea, but I'm not going to do it for this because this is a Tippi Tree skin that should be super easy to print and not involve trickery like that. GNZ, I would love to do more VR sculpts as well. I set up, oh, you can't see it with the green screen, but I set up the system that my cables are all attached to the ceiling now, so they're less in the way. I can stand up. I got a green screen. I've been slowly building the setup to actually be able to show myself in VR. And then I got distracted by a million other things, because that was like end of 2019 that I started that whole setup. Carl, thank you for the super chat again. Cheese chats. Y'all have a lot of cheese money to spend. Just throwing out some cheese bucks. Okay, yeah, let's start tracing these leaves. Whether I'm going to do them flat or not, I am going to start by just tracing them the same way I've been doing with most of these things. Although if I'm doing individual versus flat, I do have to do each leaf individually. I think I will. I think I can do some kind of hybrid that will look okay. We'll see. Like I've been saying, I'm taking this opportunity to experiment with some things that I haven't exactly done in the past. So here I'm trying some leaf tricks. So do I just do one at a time? Maybe. Let's see what happens. Let's look at one leaf, see what we make. Exit the sketch. What's all this stuff? I forgot what I was doing after the timeline. Ah! That's when I was splitting it in half. Undo. We'll delete everything after here. Okay, so now, come on, let me select that. Extrude. So we can just do a flat leaf like that. It might be better just because it'll print clean. Although, gosh, it's little tiny details, no matter what. It's going to be tough to print in any case. Getting that leaf texture on it is going to be pretty tricky. I think I'm going to go, let's see. Let's do a fat leaf. New body. And then we'll select these 3 points to create a plane through 3 points. And that creates a plane more or less through the center of the leaf so that we can cut away at it from a side view. That worked out pretty well. Now we can do a quick 3-point spline. 1. 3 point? Do we need 3 points? No, just 2-point spline. Beginning and end. We can arch this one up like that. Arch this one down like that. But this is what I'm worried about. These are really shallow swoops that just might not print out so clean. I mean, they will, but you'll have to print at like 0.1 millimeter layer height for it to really look great. Boom, cut it away. And that's kind of what it would look like. I could offset this surface. Let's try something here. Offset this 1 millimeter, for example. It's right down here. And then we can split the body with that surface. We'll extend it to cut it all the way out. All right. And now, well, it already created some weird stuff here. Like that. Oh no, that's just the surface peeking through, right? There we go, yeah. Now we can chamfer this from the bottom, maybe? I don't know if this will work. No. That's not what I want. I'm wondering if from that like point I can kind of have it go straight down and in. I can do it with the surface command. Yeah, you know what? Maybe we'll do it. All I have to do is make like 3 leaves and then I can move them around and it's not too much work. Okay, so this is, yeah, I ended up creating several bodies here just to make this leaf. I didn't technically have to do that. I'm kind of getting messy again because I'm jumping between techniques and ideas. In fact, this has a flat spot, so that's just going to make this all kinds of tricky. So undo, undo. We're going to go back to before we split it, because we don't need to do that if we're going to do it this way. I'll extrude it a little higher. 4. And now here, all we have to do is offset this. Like that, to create our leaf. And we can make it a little thicker. Let's make it 1.6. Try to make it a little easier to print. 1.6. And oh, we have to extend it. Is this gonna work? Oh yeah, now we can just do, instead of cutting, we'll do the intersect. Boom. Make sure only to do that with that one body. There we go. Now we got a nice fat leaf. It is going to have lines like this when it's printing, but I think it's swooped enough that it could look okay. Maybe I'll do a version with and without. Just in case some people want to print it more easily or something. I don't know. So let's see what I can do here. I wish I could literally just extrude this. Why is it trying to make me select? I wish I could extrude this down, but I can't because it's a complex curve. I could do that loft to a point thing again. In fact, that's what I'm leaning towards. It's been working really well. In fact, yeah, let's do it. I think if I create a point, it's got to be like somewhere. I just have to imagine all these edges coming down to a point, and I think they'd want to be somewhere here to create a 45-degree, more or less. So I'm going to start here, construct an offset plane, put it right about there. Then I'm going to sketch a point on that plane. Let's look at it from the top so we can see the leaf, and place that point right in the center of the leaf. Finish that, hide the tree. Now we select the leaf and select loft and select that point. Boom. There we go. This could work. New body, is it? It's not a body. It is in the surfaces. I can fill that pretty easily. Let me see. I'm actually not sure if I can, in the solid workspace, I'm not sure if I can use a complex curve like this for the loft. Looks like I can. Okay, so that saves a step if I do it as a loft instead, because it instantly makes it a solid body. And I can make it join the leaf right away. Bing bong. Now, if we turn the tree back on, you will see that it kind of just sinks into the tree. Looks kind of weird, but look at that. From this angle, which is basically as low as you'll ever get to the table, it looks okay. Maybe I need to make this thinner. Or, alternately, I can chamfer the top. And that'll also give it the effect of being thinner. It's just the same trick they use on cell phones to make them look thinner. Just add that bevel. Something like that. 1 millimeter. Yeah. Like from the side, it's not, no leaf would have that big chunk under the bottom, but that's pretty good. Could I import a picture of an actual leaf? Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I don't know why I'm doing chamfers instead of fillets. I guess I'm just committed to it with the whole chamfered look of this, but I like that. I think this will work. I don't know how you all feel about it, but I like it. Before I do that chamfer, I'll try to, well, I think as much detail as I can add is maybe a center vein on the leaf. I can't add all the veins, otherwise it's going to start creating really tiny islands that the printer has to hit. And that becomes a problem. So let's see if I have a, well, I'll just create a new construction plane and move that above. So we can look straight down from the top. And I want to do like a tapered line. It would actually be great if I could just do it like this. I guess I can. I might not be able to, since this is extruding on top of a complex curve, I don't think I can do like a taper extrude, but I can extrude this kind of tapered shape and create a very thin little crease to just suggest the vein of the leaf. So if I extrude that to object and offset that an extra 0.6, sorry, minus 0.6, got it wrong as always. There we go. I think that's good enough. Once again, you got to remember these are going to be tiny. Let's see if the taper works. I don't think it will, because I think it starts, if it started tapering once it's at the surface, it would work. No. See, it tapers from here. So we can't do that, although I can try to add a chamfer here. That should work. Yeah. Can do a chamfer just on one side like that to make it even thinner of a sliver. I don't think I will, though. I think this, for the sake of printability, just a straight cut line like that will work. I am thinking about how small these details are. One thing I like to do is measure like the smallest gaps. Like from here to here, it's still 1.6. So that's 4 layer lines. Totally cool with it. Oh, I forgot the chamfers though. Forgot I was gonna throw a chamfer on there. On these edges. So that makes it smaller. What if I just do a 0.6 then? And that leaves an extra 0.6 or so, just about. At least one layer. Here I'll pull it back a little bit. I know they're tiny details, but that's just how I roll. I think they will pick up and look good. Maybe tonight I'll just test print just the leaf, actually. That's a good idea. I can print just the leaf. tonight. I won't, which means we're 3.5 hours into this stream. It's a good time to call it a night. I did one leaf. I'm gonna test print. We'll also make it so that you can print them separately and stick them in place. I'll probably make more than one version of this because it is easy enough. The way I'll do that, just to show you guys a cool way to make parts like this that interface. Well, never mind, it's not that easy. Basically what you could do is take this rock, scale it up to like 105%, and then sink it into the tree a little bit and subtract that. So here, I'll do an example. Imagine that I scaled up this rock. Or the correct way to do it would be to offset it using the surface tools, or use the shell tool even. Actually, yeah, let's try that. I'm gonna throw in a little last minute lesson here. So first I would copy the rock, but then I would just select it here and do an outside shell and make that 0.15. So that's basically just the extra clearance I'm adding in to make sure that I'll be able to press this into place, or at least glue it into place. It's not solid, but that's okay. Now when I have this, I can use the cut tool, this piece. Like I said, I would have copied it, so I still have the other original rock. But now I cut that, I would remove this. Whoops. Oh no, just kidding, that's it. It basically creates a little indentation. Well, this one's only, never mind. What I would have done, make the rock, and then maybe dip it down an extra 0.5 millimeters. Then cut it away, delete this bit, and there we go. We've got a nice little hole that will perfectly fit the rock in. So that's how I'll do inlays, text with multiple colors and things like that. So maybe I'll do that like print in place part, because that was the goal with Tippi Tree. Okay. We made some more good progress today, folks. We did. Let's do another quick render to see the progress we've made today. I can't help but look at that leaf like a little coffee bean. But it will look good. It will look good. There it is. I know I'm in the way this time. Can't help looking at myself. Just kidding. There we go. Save it. Yes, I will save it. But after the stream. Awesome, dude. We finished the face. We put it on all 4 sides thanks to your vote. I think that was a good idea. I think that was a good idea. It looks really detailed and super wild and fun now. I'm sad that the creators of this design couldn't catch the live stream. It would have been really cool to just get their input as this is going on. But hey, I'm sure they'll be super excited when they see this, if they haven't already. And if not, I'm super excited about it. All right, there it is. Will I finish this model on the live stream? I probably won't, because there's only a little bit left to do. There's the roots. Here's what I'll do. I am going to live stream my process creating the other winning entry, which is the leaky tree. However, I think for this, I'll probably just finish it on my own time, and maybe during that live stream, I can just run through the process and how I went about doing things. I don't think it's worth it to have a stream just for the little bit of final parts for this model. Plus, I don't think I would necessarily finish it all tonight, so I've got some other things to do too. Tomorrow I'm taking the day off, gonna go do some bouldering, gonna go out climbing. That's gonna be nice. And then right after that, I'm gonna go ahead and finish my video for next week. Whether I have time to do another live stream as well next week, I'm not sure. Maybe not. But if anything, I'll do a live stream the week after that. Anyways, I'll announce it all once I figure it out. Thanks so much for joining. Maintained a nice 170 viewers or so all throughout the stream, which I love. And super excited about how this is turning out. It was pretty intimidating from the beginning to make something this sculptural in Fusion 360, and it's turning out really nicely. So thank you for giving me confidence. Thank you for pushing me on. Thank you for helping me make some of these tough decisions and figuring out some interesting techniques. There's a lot that's gone into it so far, so we're gonna keep doing it. We're gonna keep rocking it. In the next one. That's it for today though, so thanks for watching. Keep it cheesy and stay inspired. All right, thanks y'all. See you in the next one.